Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Clinton, North Carolina, we look at a storybook small couple all mixed up in a situation that spins out of control and results in a brutal killing and an absolutely insane backstory. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once again and again. If this is your first time joining us, welcome.
Hi.
And you have chosen a good episode. Not that there's a bad one to choose, but this is a wild episode. And one of those... Well, sometimes we say there's ones that are quintessential small town murder cases, kind of what this is all about. Yeah. If you think of a show called Small Town Murder, this is what you'd think of, only way weirder. So buckle up, because it's the next few weeks. We have a wild slate before you.
Terrific.
We have a missing cheerleader. From the mall, Jimmy.
Oh,
Does it get any more small town murder than that? Cheerleader missing from the mall.
Yeah. That's
coming up soon. It's crazy. But before we get into the show this week, quickly, thank you for everything this week. Thank you for your reviews, especially Apple Podcasts, the purple icon. Give us 5 stars if you haven't yet. It really does help the show out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Tons of merchandise and all that stuff. But more importantly, tickets to the virtual live show. Yes. Oh, baby. January January 29th, and it'll be available for 72 hours after it's live.
4 weeks from today.
4 weeks from now. Get your tickets. We are doing it's a real show, an actual case, just like in the theater. If you're going to come see us in a theater, thinking about it, this is the next best thing. We're going to pretend like we're in a theater. We're going to have great sound, good visuals, everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. Do that right now. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com, January the 29th for the virtual live show. Also, listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't. Yes. Good week to start this week.
Today.
We had a really wild story this week. Check it out. It's if you give it a shot. If you haven't listened to the show yet, give it a shot. And if you don't like this week, then you're probably not going to like the show because it's a good show.
So good.
It's a really good show. Check that out.
I really left the studio then. I go, I really want to keep. I wish we were doing only that every day. It's so good.
So
it was
fun.
so fun.
Such a great show. Check that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, where I was forced to watch Love Actually last week, which was a nightmare. And this week I have to watch the rubber match of Twilight.
What is that?
Part 2 of Twilight. Rubber match, like it's a 3-game baseball series. But
yep, I'm on board.
Yeah, I have to watch part 2 of Twilight.
Werewolves
not
or
me.
Vampires?
Not James.
Is that what it is?
It's of course. It's not James. I'll tell you that. I'm not the winner. That I guarantee you. Listen to that. Check everything out. Yeah. Also, if you want to be a producer of the show, first of all, Jimmy will give you a shout out at the end of the show. Mispronounce your name brutally. Yeah. But more importantly than that, you're going to get bonus content. Oh, the bonus content at patreon.com/crime and sports. So much. Last week you get both shows bonus content, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder. We had a really fun personal ads show last week for Crime and Sports. We had these Christmas murders throughout history for Small Town Murder. Next Small Town Murder bonus show will be the worst. I'm going to cultivate the worst small town reviews that I can find of just the most brutal ones. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of fun bonus stuff lined up for you coming up in the next little while.
Yeah, if you like this show, we pick and choose some segments of this shit of fun. And jam it into there, and it's just extra.
Sometimes some murders, a lot of variety. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And if you just want to be a producer, get a shout out and have good karma, you can go to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Yes.
Quickly, this is a comedy show. I'm going to do the disclaimer. It's a comedy show. We're comedians. It's a comedy show about murder.
Right.
That's weird, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. If you're listening for the first time, you go, I don't know about that. Well, you know what? Give it a shot.
Stick around a minute.
Might not be exactly what you think it is. We go out of our way to try not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There you have it.
That's how it works. Yeah. Otherwise, we're just trying to have a good time with a bunch of crazy things that are happening in a wild story. So if that's no good for you, then, maybe don't listen. But if you are good with that and you want to have a nice time and hear a wild tale, I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's do this.
I'd like it.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Okay.
What do you say?
Yeah.
We're coming from New Hampshire, and then also the bonus episode this week that we did.
Down there in Jersey.
Down in Jersey. We're going to go down south a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to get out of the Northeast for a minute here, and we're going to go down to Clinton, North Carolina.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, this you can hear like the Andy Griffith theme song whistling by when you think of this place. Old Clinton. This is in southeastern North Carolina. It's down there. It's about an hour to Raleigh-Durham, to that area outside of there. About 3 hours to Charlotte.
Okay.
If you want to go west, and about an hour and 10 minutes to Rayford, North Carolina, which was our last episode.
No kidding.
Episode 155, which was our last North Carolina episode. You know when that was?
A year ago.
Yeah, January 2020, which seems like, I don't know. Might as well be 1957 at this point. It's so long ago from right now.
Unbelievable.
Whatever. So this is in Sampson County.
Okay.
And area code 910, 7 square miles. And the motto here, they're selling it hard, I would say. They want you to... Not looking for tourism, I guess, but definitely looking for you to stay. Quote, a perfect place to call home.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Not very creative.
No. This is... Or subsequently, it would be like the Bronx Tale when they have the bikers in there and they ask them to leave and they won't leave and they break up the bar. So then they close and lock the door and they go, "Now you just can't leave." I feel like that's what this is. Now you just can't leave.
It's a perfect place to
and
call
they just
home.
Go, "Huh? That's not what we expected." So, history of this town. the first European settlers, first white people in this area were around 1740.
Yeah.
Walking around
the
here.
whole East Coast,
The whole-
1700s.
Yeah, just wandering through. Took a while probably to get into here anyway.
How far inland is this?
Not too far, a
No?
couple hours, but it's still, it's rural, man.
Yeah.
This is not...
Couple hours in a car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is...
The people that got here on boats, that's a lot more walking.
Through the woods and
Yeah.
having to make a path is a different story. This is not, they're not going as the crow flies
Right.
here. It's a different deal. So it was originally known as Clinton Courthouse. That was the first deal there, first name of the town.
Yeah.
It was an earlier incorporated town of Clinton and Matthews County. However, the town folded in 1822.
They went
They
bankrupt?
just folded. They just, this isn't working.
I give
Sell
it.
up! Everybody sell your houses. We're moving. And fuck it. Town's shut down. Main Street.
That's
just a sign up.
hilarious.
Shut down. I've never
Has
heard of
any
a
town ever just given up?
I mean, there's ghost towns.
Yeah, of
but
course.
it's over time. Like there's only 12 residents in the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Doesn't
but
it
this
usually
is
take
like,
everybody to die before it's a ghost town?
they just 1822. There's never a year when it's like town ended that
Right.
year, and this is folded in 1822.
That's
Gone.
awesome.
And then the town of Clinton was incorporated the same year. So they danced on the ashes of this town. Did they get rid of Clinton? Oh shit! Right, that we got to get it before someone else does. That's a good name. Goddamn it!
Let's get over there.
Christ, that's two syllables. It's not bad. It's not.
Flows real nice.
I think it'll work for us. I mean, we dropped this courthouse business and just have Clinton bastards over there in Matthews County. So they had a minor league baseball team, Clinton did.
Really?
Actually, in the Tobacco State League.
Okay.
Which
I'm sure it's
very common there.
I'll bet there's a shitload of teams in that.
A lot of tobacco going on
Yeah.
down there. I remember, like, in the late 90s, like, cigarettes were like $1.20 a pack down there still. It was like, what is happening down here? They're just encouraging you to, please smoke more. It was every side.
Meanwhile, here the taxes, man, it was fast too. If you were smoking in the late 90s into like the early 2000s,
went from like
you saw it go
$2
from
to $6,
$2.25, James. When
Yeah.
I started smoking, like actually buying them from a store,
Yeah.
to when I quit, fucking $8 a pack,
Yeah.
and it was so fast, it's so quick.
happened
It's been
with the
$8
quickness.
a pack for 5-10 years now.
Yeah, they figured that was the limit. So,
David
This
Salas
is,
says every time he buys a pack of cigarettes, for another $5, I could be smoking crack.
it's true. It's
Same
fucking,
shit.
It is. It's
Same price.
less expensive. Think about it. I always think about that when gas prices go up.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like,
What are we
buy
doing?
this shit by the gram soon.
Right.
What the hell is happening? It's too much. So 1946 to 1950, they had this team here.
Yeah.
This team had a particular guy on it who is kind of known for being a nutcase.
Yeah.
And so I will talk about him, a guy named Van Lingle Mungo.
Okay.
Van, one word, Lingle, it's next word, Mungo, the last word.
Lingle, M-I-L, what?
Lingle. Lingle.
Okay.
Van Lingle Mungo,
My.
who was actually he was a fastball pitcher in the, and this isn't crime and sports, I realize that, but this guy was nuts.
In the Tobacco League?
He's a fastball pitcher in the majors. He was a
Oh.
good pitcher. 120 and 115 lifetime record, 347 lifetime ERA.
That's great.
With 1,242 lifetime strikeouts. He 5-time All-Star.
Wow.
Who led the National League in strikeouts in 1936.
And he's from here.
So no, he was on this weird team.
Got it.
And hanging around this area for a few years at the very end of his career when he was done in the majors. So he was even crazier. And he's known as kind of a nut, a little bit, basically. He did a bunch of shit. Apparently, one time, most widely told story with him is he went to Cuba. They were playing,
Lingle Mungo.
yeah, Lingle Mungo down there. Went to Cuba
Okay.
to play ball there, and he was banging a married woman. Let's put it bluntly.
A Cuban married
He's
woman.
banging a married Cuban woman, and the husband apparently found them
Uh-oh.
in the act. And so he basically Mungo, to try to get away, Lingle Mungo here,
Yeah.
punched him in the eye, which prompted this man to get a machete.
Yes.
and
That's the first weapon that I assumed the man has.
and hack at him pretty good, and causing him to have stitches all over his body as he ran nude from a crazy man with a machete screaming
And
at him,
deserved it.
with a black eye and a machete fucking chasing him.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Black eye.
Black
by the
eye,
way, you got to
yeah.
tiptoe around that one. Black
Eye
and a machete.
well, if he had with him, he's a guy, and then he's got a black guy and a machete. So now he's got 2 people and a machete. That's even more threatening. There's more people. So he apparently they had to escape the country because people wanted to kill him for this. So he was wanted to be murdered, which actually happened. I know a guy who I met out here, who I used to be good friends with. He sold weed, so I was good friends with him when I first moved out here. And he used to play. He was an amazing basketball player. I saw him absolutely dominate Mike Bibby's shit in the Deer Valley Community Center there. Mike Bibby used to play there, and we're talking when he was in U of A. No.
Oh, okay.
This is 2000.
Shortly after,
this is 1998.
Okay.
So he's like NBA at the end of college, going into the NBA. Yeah. Hot shit, right? This dude would fucking eat his lunch for him. He would steal the ball from him, block his shit, fake him out. Everybody would laugh at him.
I wonder if I know him.
He would laugh at this guy.
And played basketball in that
he
area.
wasn't from here, but he moved here. And
I wonder if I know him.
He was fucking great. He used to play he used to play in the pro leagues in Mexico and shit because he was such a fuck up. So he went down and played like a year down there, but he ended up fucking some cartel guy's wife.
Oh no.
And basically was like, had to be smuggled out of the country under threat of murder from like so many people wanted to kill him. It was like a crazy thing.
Awesome.
He had to like hide out for like 2 years to not be murdered. Yeah. So I get what's happening here. This has happened to a guy I know.
That's what you don't do.
No.
You don't find the exotic chicks hot. That's what you don't do.
It's so, yeah.
Because you're going to get in trouble.
Of course the cartel leader's wife is hot. Right. Obviously.
The hot exotic chicks have meaner husbands.
Yeah.
How hot she is, her husband's meaner than
Especially in this environment of, the criminal underworld. Yeah, this guy was so weird too. He was like a 6'2" white guy that looked completely nondescript, be reverse dunking on people. Like it was fucking disturbing, dude. It was crazy to watch. It was weird. So anyway, he had all sorts of conflicts, this Van Lingle-Mungo, with everybody. He tried to get a guy kicked off the team one time for dropping a fly ball. Got real pissed off at that, and then made a big guy dropped a foul ball, tried to get him, or a fly ball, tried to get him kicked off the team, and then basically made a public thing, sent a copy of a telegram he sent to his wife to the newspapers, telling her to pack her bags and come to Brooklyn, because if that guy can play in the big leagues, then you can too. And he is also the most heavily fined player of his era, amassing a grand total of over $15,000 in fines in that time, which for back then was an astronomical amount of money.
16 grand.
That's what I mean. He probably made 50 and paid 15 of it in fines. Yeah. So it's interesting. Now I have some reviews of Clinton here, so we'll get a little. By the way, don't get mad at us for what other people say.
Right.
Several times people tweet at me.
It's not a racist place. Okay, we didn't say it.
I read a review. So do I have to do a disclaimer that these reviews aren't us? Because they're not us. This is what people write on the thing, and we find funny ones, because it's a comedy show. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go with your hometown pride.
I get
and be pissed that these people hate your place.
Go find whoever this is and yell at them. It's not they live near you, probably. I don't.
We'll give you their screen name. Tweet at them.
Yeah,
you fucking sensitive dick.
Jesus Christ. It's not our fault. This is just what other people say. It's weird as shit. So 1 star here. 1 star here. Most of them are half decent, but good God, the all about fast food always. Every town, people are very concerned what fast food places there are.
I guess you expect a small town to not have fast food? Is that what it is?
They're just I don't know what it is, but I guess because there's not a lot of stuff in a small town, so they tell you what we do have rather than what we don't have.
And then we bitch about what we do have.
I guess.
I mean, you could have nothing. How about that?
Yeah.
I guess that's me being a dad.
Well, that's, What do you want there, huh? The whole town.
Guess you get nothing.
Jimmy'd be a bad mayor. Bad mayor, just treating everyone like his children.
You pissed I only have 5,000 COVID doses?
Come on.
Now I have none. I just stepped on them all.
Yeah, how do you like that? I unplugged the freezer they were in. Now what are you going to do? All right, 1 star here. There are no local concerts except a few times. Actually, it says no local concerts expect, not accept, but they mean accept. Yeah. A few times each summer with activities in the park. Our community theater is local talent. that is really picky. Yeah. To review the community theater in a town review, really? That's really getting picky. I expected better community theater from rural North Carolina. How dare they? And local talent. Right.
We don't have any concerts that come through here because you're Clinton.
Yeah.
And people that are famous like to make money while they fucking can.
Community theater. What do you expect? What do you think? Mandy Patinkin's going to be your resident fucking? No. You're in the middle of nowhere. These are people trying to start out to get out of here.
Right.
What's wrong with you? 2 stars here. The people were friendly. There was a smell in the city from the hog farms that was almost unbearable. There were not many job opportunities.
That you should lead with.
Yeah, sounds like this person tried to live there and it didn't work out. That's what it sounds like. There were not many job opportunities, and the shit smell, which is a bigger problem. And that. 2 stars here. The largest employers are in the agricultural field, hospital, and school system. There are very few upper management positions.
Oh, they did your job for you already.
There you go. That's what I mean. That's why I picked that, actually, because that's pretty much what the jobs are. They're actually right. 3 stars here. So this is average. Overall, Clinton is an all right city. Okay. It is a very small town in a rural area in North Carolina. It has many a small variety of fast food choices. Many a small shopping areas and stairs. And stairs? Hold on a second.
Too many stairs. STAR or
no
E or
stairs, like climbing stairs.
Yeah.
It has a small variety of fast food It has many a small variety of fast food choices, shopping areas, and stairs. Small variety of stairs?
Yeah.
Or many stairs? Which
or too
one?
many. Which
I don't
is
know
it?
what's happening.
Not enough.
Here we go.
Can't get my stuffs in.
Fuck.
Yeah.
3 stars. A very nice town to settle down and retire. There are many friendly and helpful people in the town, and it has a great atmosphere.
Okay.
Just got a new GameStop store in town.
Oh.
So there's that. And soon we'll be getting another restaurant called Popeyes. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah. How dare you call that a restaurant?
We will soon be getting another restaurant called Popeyes. Like it's some chef is opening up a new place here. It's fucking Popeyes.
Somebody had never heard of Popeyes, and they were like, called Popeyes?
Popeyes?
Whatever that
They have
means.
a theme song.
Yeah.
Love that chicken from. There you go. So
it's not going to be a spinach restaurant, sir.
No, probably not. Not a vegan place. So population here, it stayed pretty steady. It grew in the 1950s because there were some people moved here. There's some jobs here. And then it kind of dipped a little bit, stayed the same for a long time, and it's pretty much the same as it's been since about 1960.
Really?
Plus a few here. 8,630 people here.
Tiny.
And yeah, it's a small town, man. And female population way more than the men here. It's 55% female, which is way out of whack, but there's twice as many people over the age of 75, so I think that's probably going to, Southern men don't live to be 90.
That's where you find them.
Yeah. Their wives have made them dinners, breakfasts.
Yeah.
It's a long-term game, basically. Like, I will outlive him by feeding him
the worst,
by frying him terrible. I know not every
by frying him dinner.
We're thinking old-timey Southern times back then. I'm going to fry everything, and he's going to die well before me, and I'm going to enjoy the last 20 years of my life. So, married population here,
big Dutch oven full of Crisco.
You know it. Married population is lower, and there's a lot of like farm people that just work on the farms here too.
Okay.
So I think you're getting a lot of that. You can almost put like a college student spin on that. Not that they're college students, but they're more of a little more of transient flexibility. They're not like people with 7 kids don't move here to work the farm. Probably not.
Tilling the fields is a tough fucking work.
It's a tough
job.
One. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little tough. Single with children is actually like twice as much as normal here, which is strange. And single with no children is also higher. So there's just less married people, basically. Race of this town is pretty even. It's a diverse little town here. 42.4% white, which is well under the average. 40.8% black, which is well above the average. 1.1% Asian, so they're still not there. It's a small town. And then 11.2% Hispanic. So pretty diverse. For a small town in the middle of North Carolina somewhere, that's a very diverse town. And the farm is a lot of that. Sure. The farm work draws people in. 56.7% of the people here are religious. Not shocking in this area. This is they could poke an extra hole here if you lost a little weight or gained a little in the Bible Belt here. This is part of it.
Yeah.
30.7% are Baptist. So 31% Baptist. Baptists are the Catholics of the South, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And otherwise, a few Methodists, a Pentecostal or two thrown in there, maybe a Presbyterian for fun, and 0.0% Jewish, though. There's not a lot of Southern Jewish hog farmers. It's a rare. If you find me a Southern Jewish hog farmer,
Right.
I'd love to see him because
The guy that creates shit that he won't eat.
I don't mean to be stereotypical, but it's probably rare.
Yeah.
And just based on region and production thing, it's probably
Seems
rare.
like something that's not for them.
Maybe not, or if they want to. But
There might be maybe there's a couple entrepreneurs in that business that think, you know what, there are none of us there. I'm doing that.
I'm gonna run this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dominate this business because I'm gonna get myself in there.
Right.
Yeah, really. That's a business that maybe you want to be in.
I don't know if you.
I don't want to be in raising hogs.
If you make $1 in it, you are now the richest Jewish hog farmer.
Yeah, that's true. Southern.
Yeah, Southern.
Add
Yeah,
that in
it's
there.
got to be Southern.
So unemployment rate here is a little bit higher than normal, and the median household income is well lower than normal. It's about $57,500 in the rest of the country. Here it is $29,474 for household.
Shit.
That is rough. Over 50% of the people here make under $30,000 a year. So it is not a rich town.
You could say it. Bleak.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
It's as grim.
Poor.
It's grim, mate,
Yeah.
as they say across the pond there. So it is cost of living, 100 being regular, par, average. Here it's 78, and the housing is the low thing. Everything else is a little bit higher, actually, but housing is a 52.
Okay.
Median home cost $121,400.
Affordable.
Pretty cheap. Over 60% of the houses are worth $150,000 or less. So very cheap. And if we've convinced you to mount up and farm some hog, we have for you hog some farm. We have for you the Clinton, North Carolina Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $679 a month. That's pretty cheap. That's like half the national average. When I found houses, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,692 square foot house.
All right.
You know,
That's
a livable
house. Yeah.
some house. It looks concrete. It's a weird looking house. It looks like a bunker almost. Okay. It would withstand, I feel like, a blast. But it's updated on the inside though.
Nice.
So it's nice. Like it's the new appliances, everything like that. $90,000. Wow. So I mean, that's a livable house for $90,000. It's not bad with a family.
1,600 square feet.
That's not bad.
Wow.
I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,156 square feet.
That's a
This
house.
is nice. Brick.
Yeah.
This is a nice brick house with pillars.
Oh.
2 big white pillars
Hell
out
yeah.
front. Real nice looking house. $134,900.
Wow.
I was like, really?
That's awesome.
I was like, wow, that's all that is?
2,000 square feet.
2,200
That's
almost.
incredible.
This one, the next one, though, I was really blown away by here. 5-bedroom, 5-bath.
Hell yeah.
4,665 square feet.
Okay.
Big house, brick on the outside.
Did you say 5,000 square feet?
4,665.
Holy
So,
shit.
A big goddamn house. A lot of house.
Yeah.
Brick, nice on the inside. The yard's nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, big rolling thing. Beautiful. 1.5 acres.
Yeah.
$370,000. I was like, what?
Get out of my life.
This would be $1.5 million easy in Phoenix.
Anywhere.
Else. This is crazy.
$300,000
$370
for a
Like,
fucking quote unquote plantation.
well, let's hope not.
But I mean, plantation
a huge
style house
with an acre and a half around.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Things to do here. I found the Clinton Square Fair.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things to do around here.
Square fair.
Square Fair.
Okay.
Clinton Square, I
Okay,
assume, is a
got it.
place,
All
and then the fair that's in Clinton Square.
I thought squares was the theme of this.
It probably is.
Okay.
Let's not be hasty. Events and things to do here. The barbecue cook-off, obviously,
Yeah.
if we're down here.
In North Carolina.
It says hogs will be delivered the night before, and teams will spend the night preparing and cooking for the day's competition. Holy shit.
Do these hogs walk when they show up and we're going to prepare them?
I don't know. I
Good
don't know
Lord.
the level of butchered out they are.
That was
before.
real vague.
Real vague.
Based on what could be happening.
I don't know what's up with that. Arts activities. The Arts Council Council will host a variety of activities in the park neighboring the Milling Around art installation. Oh, boy. A car show, the, quote, Old Lightning Rods Antique Car Show. Okay. Oh, boy. Will be held at the Clinton City Market. Oh, wow. You got to register your car. The Oldies station will be broadcasting live from the car show with Bob Stroud and the Boogie Shoes Network.
Oh.
So there's that.
Bob Stroud and the Boogie Shoes.
You got that going on for you, and the Boogie Shoes.
I went to many a car show, James, as a child.
Doesn't surprise me.
Everything Beach Boys and 50s music was a
lot of Tommy Bahama shirts going on.
Tons of it, yeah.
Everybody is.
But it was not a Tommy Bahama brand. It was Ford brand that looked like it just had Mustangs all over it, or a Chevy one with
still a Hawaiian shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
So
a lot of Hawaiian shirts and khakis going on there. Then there's the Alive After 5 Summer Concert Series.
Yeesh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Kicking off the season Thursday, May 16th. This is from last year because it didn't happen this year. Will be Spare Change.
Yep.
A mainstay in the area.
We get them a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Local talent. June 20th, though, the next month, Jim Quick and Coastline will take Sampson by storm as a part of their 2019 farewell tour.
Oh, they're done?
I missed it. For fuck's sake, Jimmy, this is all I wanted was to see Jim Quick in the Coastline. It's my bucket list, and now it's gone.
We missed their whole career.
Jim, come back. Don't say it ain't so, Jim.
Farewell.
Say it ain't so. At the Alive After 5 Summer Concert Series. Please come back. At least the Coastline.
Yeah.
Like the Wailers played after Bob Marley died. Can I have that? I saw the Wailers.
Holy shit. Poor fucking guys.
Jesus. September.
Why is that so great?
It's ridiculous. September, the Band of Oz.
Oh, boy.
Oz, like the Land of Oz. The Band of Oz, Land of Oz.
I'm on
will
board.
make their 8th appearance in the series. Enough of you already. And then another one, a regular at the Alive After 5, quote, Too Much Sylvia. That's the name of the band. We'll close out the season in October. Too Much Sylvia.
Like the country singer Sylvia?
I don't know. Sylvia, whoever she is, there's too much of her.
I loved that lady.
And watch her on stage. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
You don't know Sylvia? Oh, my God. I'm going to play you some Sylvia, James.
Nope. It's country music. I know like 4 people. So.
She had a song called Nobody, and it was about her answering the phone, and the person on the other end, she said, who is this? And the lady said, nobody. And so she knew that her husband was cheating. It's a great song.
That sounds terrible. All right, then. Moving on. I believe I've heard Jolene, which covers all of that.
It does.
Fine.
It really does.
Covers the whole genre, I think. It's enough for me for now.
It's all about some
good.
chick that's
Perfect.
getting in here on my man.
Speaking of stealing, crime rate in this town.
Okay.
Property crime, we're stealing here, about 1/3 higher than the national average. So it's high, a little high. But then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is just over more than double.
What?
So it's over double the national average.
Holy shit.
So I don't know what's going on the farm.
Yeah.
But holy shit. Watch out. Watch out.
It's enough for Sylvia.
You got to walk her. Yeah, it's too much Sylvia. Maybe that's what it is.
They've had enough.
I've had it with Sylvia. How much Sylvia are we going to watch?
How many times I got to hear nobody? How many?
For Christ's sake, with this shit. It's too much.
I want to kill everybody.
Jim Quick retired. Now what the fuck else am I going to do? The Coastline's not playing. It's all a Sylvia I got to look at now. Perfect. Fuck my life. So that said, how wonderful this town is, and doesn't sound wonderful. It sounds like it smells like hog.
You can buy a giant house for nothing.
And they have Popeyes, so that's good. That said, let's talk about a murder.
Great.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Why not? Let's get into it here. Let's start out by talking about a couple of people. We're going to talk about a storybook couple.
All right.
This, I feel like everything they did, they just had John Cougar Mellencamp following them with a notepad.
Fantastic.
That song about that. What are they doing now? Oh. They're buying a little pink house. All right, a little pink house.
Yeah.
That works for me.
They got a scarecrow.
Look at that.
I could write a song about
this
that.
This is going to be perfect. Yeah. I feel like that's what this is. This is like small town murder Americana here.
Right.
Robert Daniel Arnold Jr. Let's talk about first. Goes by Danny.
Okay.
Everybody calls him Dan or Danny.
Yeah.
Doesn't really go by Robert, probably because his dad is Robert. Since he's a junior.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's probably easier to call him by his middle name. He's born in 1951. We're going to catch up with these and him and his wife here in the 80s, though, in the 1980s. So he's born in 1951. He marries a woman named Donna Jones, and she becomes Donna Arnold, and she's a year younger than him. So they meet, they get married.
Beautiful.
They have a couple of kids.
Yep.
They're doing great. It's the storybook deal. For a while, they lived in Wyers Cave, Virginia. Cave.
Okay.
Well, no. Not. I don't want my town to be called Cave. Anything Cave. Do you all live in a cave? That's what that. I know they don't, but that's what it sounds like.
Is it like wires?
Weyers.
Oh,
Wire.
my.
Like somebody's
cave.
Somebody named Wire had a cave, and they named the town
That doesn't
after.
sound good at all.
No,
in Virginia,
in Virginia.
Probably was a cave.
And they probably did live in the cave.
Yeah.
I feel like it sounds like a bunch of people huddled up around a fire like cavemen, chipping pictures into the wall with like a chisel and a hammer.
Well, we work in this coal cave, so we may as well just stay. And Wire's the biggest guy.
Why
we'll
not?
just call it that.
All right, it's Wire's cave, I guess.
I'll just live here.
Yeah, he gets to have sex with whoever he wants. I'm next. I realize I'll spread my cheeks now, Wire. It's all right. I'm next. I understand.
Jesus.
Wire gets the run of the place. It's his mind.
It's his cave.
It's his cave. So we're going to catch up with him in 1984. 1984, they've moved out of here. Donna was a part-time dental assistant for Dr. Joseph Green in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And he was doing his thing. Danny was doing his thing as well. Now they live in Clinton, North Carolina. Okay. They moved down to Clinton, North Carolina, but her family's still in Virginia, and a lot of their family's in Virginia. So they moved down there because they both get jobs at a church down there. And Danny commutes from Clinton about an hour to the Raleigh-Durham area to Wake, where he goes to school to further his ministry.
Got it.
Whatever, to get a degree in, I don't know, theology of some kind. I guess that helps you get a better move up the church hierarchy, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe the bucket's fuller that they pass around.
I don't know. I don't know how any of that works because I don't go to church and I never was a church person.
Are you a better? If
a hierarchy.
You get a master's degree, you're better at whatever it is. You get your PhD, you're better. Yeah. Is that how it works too?
I assume. Who interviews the priest?
Yeah,
that's what, or the pastor or the minister. Who's ahead of them? Like who? How do you know? Do they just show up?
That's a great question.
Whoever just shows up and takes over. Like, is that? I get it. The Catholics have a whole system, but in the Mormons, but like in this system, does whoever shows up and is most charismatic? He's most full of shit. Listen to him.
He knows more of the Bible.
People,
we took tests.
That's what I mean. Is it? That's I don't know how it works.
Is there a paper test?
Yeah. Who the fuck is in charge? If the guy in charge when he gets there,
the guy lady, who can recall verses, you scream them at him, and he can just recite them.
He knows the most of them. Right. He said the scariest thing.
Right.
He told me the things that Jesus will do to us, and it's the scariest of anybody else's. So
he knows everything up to and including the threats. So let's listen to him.
Let's listen out. It's all listen good. Now, they live in Clinton, like I said. They work at the Emmanuel Baptist Church in Clinton, and he serves as the minister of music.
Oh.
Which sounds like a swinging title. It really does. Like, if someone in the 70s, that sounds like it would have been like one of Rick James's nicknames.
Yeah.
He's the minister of music, the fucking, the pastor of pop.
I can't believe it's not somebody's album.
Right? The minister of music.
Yeah, right.
Because someone's the king of this. Right. And, why not the...
Well, it's because the acronym is MOM, and that doesn't sound good.
No. What about the pastor of pop or the Pope of rock? I'm going to be the Pope of rock. That's what I would be if I was a rock star.
I'm the
Pope
king of it,
rock.
right?
Yeah, the king of pop was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but isn't there a king of rock? I don't know. There should be, right?
I don't think so. They used to say that about Elvis, but that's all shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
he's the king of stealing shit from others.
He's the king of
sort of
really just
marginally talented.
He's the original what is that? Appropriator.
Yeah. He was. Yeah,
he's good at it.
He'd have been on the Twitter shit list nowadays.
Oh, they would hate him.
Yeah, you stole all of it.
Publicly, he would be ruined.
It'd be bad. But
instead,
it's all good.
It's fine. He drove a buggy on the beach.
It's all good. He did a bunch of things. He put the jail uniform on, danced around with the other jailbirds, So the Emmanuel Baptist Church, he's the minister of music, fucking rocking. You just want to be like, yeah, woo. Yeah, of course I have to make the devil minister of music, baby.
Hung out and everything.
He is. He's
platform hush puppies.
Fucking rocking. I just pictured him all fucking coming in with his hair all long.
Hell
and
yeah.
Just be like,
face paint like a juggalo.
Everybody, it's time to rock.
And
on the seventh day, God rocked.
2, 3, 4. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns.
I was going to say he plays George Thorogood covers with God lyrics mixed in. From God to the bone. From the day he was born. The wise men all gathered around.
One prayer.
Got this boy there.
Yeah. One Bible, one prayer.
One Bible, one prayer.
No queers.
No queers.
I love that song.
One Bible, one prayer. No queers. Minister of music.
Yeah,
and
he's good.
The wife
he's
here.
Solid.
He's solid. He's rocking it. You fucker. You jumped me on that. But it's okay. It got out.
Yeah.
I don't care how it got out. It needed to get out.
Good.
So his wife is the church organist as well. So she's rocking it while he's up there with the devil horns and the electric guitar. So this is a combination.
Yeah, it's good.
They're like
I want all George Thorogood religious music.
That's what I want.
So good.
His songs are simple and you can turn them into anything because they're one syllable, two syllable words. So there's nothing complicated.
Everything rhymes with everything he makes.
That's what I mean.
So good.
It's so beer. It's beer. It all goes.
My friend opens for him. I'll bet I could get. I wonder. I don't know. I don't know if I bet, but I think I'd love to ask him to make some fucking parodies of his own music.
I don't know if I bet. Why don't we just do it? I think it's funnier.
That'd be great.
It's the same thing.
If we can get him to play it while we fucking make it,
we can get
that'd
like
be great.
a Weird Al thing going on here. We just make like a...
I want George Thorogood involved in this so bad.
I do too. Let's get him involved.
I love him.
Is he alive?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, he's
Still
alive.
tours. He's amazing. That's what
one battle, one prayer, no quiz.
I want it so bad, George.
Oh my God.
He wouldn't do it.
No.
His audience would find out and they'd be like,
Oh, they'd be angry.
oh my
probably.
God.
Just
No,
like-
you know what? They'd probably love him. They'd probably love
He could
it.
get away with anything.
I'll bet
think,
he'd
George
sell
Thorogood.
more of that shit than his old stuff.
He probably would. He should make Christmas albums
He
too.
should.
You could mix that in
He's
there.
so goddamn
Come on,
good.
George. You could do better than what you're doing. You're doing great, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you could probably do better even if you release some shit.
Yeah.
Do this. So
Unbelievable.
he's just fun.
We're free mapping George Thorogood's career. That's not even close to over. He's
you're
doing
like
fine.
70 years old, George. Let us take over from here. You don't know what you're doing anymore. We're going to manage your career. So, spring of 1984.
Okay.
This couple, they have a couple of daughters.
Yeah.
They have a 6-year-old. I'm not sure how old the other one is. I think a little bit younger, but they have a 6-year-old daughter at this point. They're working at the church. It doesn't get any more.
It's all church.
It's all church. Donna wears like dresses down to her ankles. You know what I mean? It is just all church all the time, all small town, Southern.
God pays the bills.
Doing a thing there, yeah. So spring of 1984, they meet a young man who's 22 at the time here. Now, he's a barber when they meet him.
Yeah.
His name is Carl Edward Stuffle.
Yeah.
And Stuffle is just like it sounds. Stuff, the word stuff with an L at the end. E-L.
Gross.
S-T-U-F-F-E-L. Stuffle. So we're going to call him nothing but Stuffle because I like saying it. He's 22. He's a barber. Great trade. My grandfather was a barber.
You
for
can make a lot of money.
40 years.
Yeah.
Or you could, that's what immigrants did because they're like, that's one of those things where at some point his father told him, everybody always going to need a haircut.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a haircut. Right. It's never going to stop. The hair, it never stop growing. It just to keep it coming.
Job of security.
It's a job of security. Yeah, that's what they would think, the immigrants back then. So I could
It's
imagine
genius.
his father was an
You
immigrant.
don't even have to make it come up. It just comes up on its own.
It just to happen. You know water. You don't have to plow the field. It's just to grow.
The crop just to grow.
And they come to you, and then you just to cut off. It's a nice and easy.
You don't even go to them.
It's so easy. You do. So how did he learn to cut hair, you ask?
Yeah.
Did he go to like a barber school or,
Barbizon.
something like Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I
for
don't think so
barbers. I
either.
think that's modeling place.
Sounds good.
It's
Sounds like it should
Well,
be.
there's also Barberzon.
Right.
They have Barbizon for modeling, and they have Barberzon, which is the hair side of that. And then you cut the model's hair, and they take pictures of it.
But that stuff that they put the scissors in is called Barbasol.
Barbasol,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
It should be called Barbasol.
The blue shit.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, because my grandfather was a barber, so he had the glass jars,
Yeah.
the big tall
So
glass
cool
jars with all the blue
with the
shit.
thing you pull
with
up
the thing
and-
you pull up and the things. He had those
Thing
all
pull
over.
up in the thing.
Yeah, the thing you pull up and it's got a screen with the
Right.
combs and
Yeah.
shit on it. Yeah. That was the coolest shit when you were a kid. Because
So awesome.
It almost looked like a science lab.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It looked like it should have bubbles in it.
Yeah, because
right.
it made the glass. I wanted to drink that shit so bad. I don't know why, but whatever color that Barbasol is a delicious looking color to me.
It's that Listerine blue. It looks amazing.
It looked like there's some flavor of high C maybe.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, God, I knew it was poison. But
Or a nice
Jesus.
watered down blue Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
It looks
really.
great.
I wanted it.
I believe it.
I knew better, but I still
Good.
wanted
I'm
it.
glad you restrained
I
yourself.
did. I kept it. I wouldn't be here right now. It would be a sad
Yeah.
tale.
My career thanks
Jesus.
you.
And that's one of those things where no one would even feel bad.
No.
You'd look at that and go, well, I mean, the world would have got him eventually if he was drinking
Yeah.
the blue shit the combs are in. He didn't have much of a chance.
There's scissors in there. He still took a swing.
Yeah, I mean, there's hair in there floating around. You think that would have kept him away from
That's a great
the
point.
little
Yeah.
tiny shards of hair, but he would have ran into traffic at some point. So Stuffle, though, he learned his trade while in prison for breaking and entering.
My God.
Yeah, he's got a prison record as long as his arm.
Sure.
He's only 22, but it's all breaking and entering, burglary. He's into drugs.
He loves to take shit that's not his.
He likes drugs, and he likes living a basic scumbag lifestyle is what he's doing. But he gets out of jail, and he's doing cutting hair and trying to get his life back together here in 1984.
Yeah.
So what happens is, this is a guy, he'd taken drugs since he was like pre 10 years old, he said. He's just one of those guys that did not have a good upbringing.
Just found it too early.
Who knows what this guy's home life is?
It fucked his whole life.
It fucked his life. Yeah, if your kids are doing, if any kids are doing drugs pre-10,
right,
that's the parents' fault.
Yeah.
Because the kid should be always supervised pre-10, so they can't do drugs. And if your kid is has drugs accessible to them pre-10, that's your fault.
Yes.
You should be able to physically keep things away from a 10-year-old kid.
For quite some time
still. Yeah, if the kid's 17 and doing shit, at some point it's like, well, yeah, it's hard to control. It's a little more of a gray area.
Take your eyes off them at some point.
Yeah, they're almost adults, but 8? No,
that's you.
That's on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did that, and he also just tons of criminal shit over the years. He's had a bad run of it, basically, old Stuffle.
Yeah.
Stuffle's had a bad run legally here. Dan Arnold here, our main guy we just talked about. Pastor Dan. Dan and Donna. Dan and Donna.
Oh, yeah.
Dan and Donna on music and keyboards there. So he commutes from Clinton to Wake Forest every day, or not every day, once a week to attend classes at Southeastern Baptist Seminary.
Wow.
Sounds like a party school.
Yeah.
That is a party school. Every year they release the top party schools. It's always like Florida State, ASU, and the Southeastern Baptist Seminary College in Wake Forest. It's always right there.
Yeah.
It's partying. It's crazy.
It would either be one or the other, though. It's never just a little bit of degenerate behavior. It's either hardline nothing or fucking everything goes.
It's either Baptist Seminary or
bananas.
Or shirts are optional for all genders.
Yes.
All the time. So it's crazy. So he, on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1984, serendipitous date here, he sits down in a barber chair, Dan Arnold, and has his hair cut by Stuffle.
Oh.
This is the Valley Style Shop in the Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he's going to the mall to get a haircut. That's how big malls were in the 80s. You just, stop by the mall and get a haircut.
Right.
Strange. So, anyway, he meets him. Dan entered the shop with the owner's nephew, who he knew from the area, and Stuffle cut his hair. He was a new barber, and he cut his hair. Dan talked to Stuffle a little bit while they're cutting hair and heard about his story. Dan's one of these guys who is very much, at this point he's in his early 30s, he's got a wife, he's got a family, and he's into the church thing as far as lost puppies and shit like that. And a lot of the church people are like this. They like to... They help people. They talk to people. They find out somebody's story. They go, well, maybe I can get you a job here. I know a lot of people here. Maybe
change your life. Keep you off that path.
And by the way, here's some Jesus.
Right.
And
by the way, do you know the collection plate?
By the way, have you heard the newest George Thorogood selection? I think we could really cement these thoughts.
Here's the new George Thorogood CD, and we'll see you on Sunday.
And there you go. Have fun.
Remember this when the collection plate comes around.
It's going to be here, so watch out. So they meet that day. That night, Dan suggests that they have dinner that night.
Sure.
Why don't we have dinner? I'm going to be here anyway with the college. We'll have dinner and we'll talk more. Yeah. So they do. They talk that night. And they talk about Stuffle tells Dan about his problems. He tells him he's had problems with drugs, and he's had problems legally. He's open
about it.
He's open about it, and this guy's saying, I feel like Dan's one of these people that gets information out of people like that because he wants to help them, and they feel like he doesn't seem like a narc or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fucking.
Like, look, I'm an open book.
Minister of music, brother. You know what I mean? It's like, what's up?
Yeah. Here to the rapper B.O.B. I am M.O.M.
and Minister of music right here.
And I need to know everything. I will tell you everything about me.
Tell you all.
But you need to tell me about you.
So they do. They talk, and he tells him I've had problems with drugs, my whole life, and tells him that. And he says I have legal problems also, including currently I'm out on bail right now.
Yeah.
Currently charged with larceny of a firearm and looking at some jail time too. So he's like, my life's just kind of shit right now, and I'm trying to get it on track. I'm cutting hair. I'm doing this. So they have dinner and they talk about it. And then afterwards, they go to a motel in Raleigh and have sex.
Oh. That was quick.
Yeah.
How the?
Didn't expect that, did you?
Whichever one of them.
That's a left turn, ain't it?
One of them is smooth talking as fuck.
Yeah, no, they're both. They're both into this.
Okay.
Dan, this is a thing, as we'll find out for Dan.
That was fast.
Yep.
There's a lot of straight guys that can't handle that. Can't get that done that quick.
This is, I mean, in 1984, though, in rural North Carolina, if you just found another person who was gay, like I'm just picturing myself in it, and I'm not saying for anybody else, but if I was gay then, and there's probably not openly gay was not a thing there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So to find another person who was into that would be like, I would have been like, I don't give a shit if I'm attracted to you or not. At least let's try this because there's nobody else.
Right.
Literally, this is all there is.
Are you telling?
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. If you were in,
I know a motel. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. If you were, somewhere.
So that may have been how he got. He probably professed to him, right? That he's like, well, I have a wife and kids, but I'm also gay. So now you tell me all about you.
I picture this being like, they ate dinner, they talked about it. I don't feel like this came up verbally.
Okay.
In my mind, this is how this went down. I can't tell for sure.
Somebody touched a leg?
In my mind, this went down as there was vibes and there was, there's gaydar and they knew it was up and they've, not that they're either of them are even gay. I'm not going to classify what their sexuality is because it's, as we'll see, it's very much fluid here. So, but, I think there was a vibe of some whatever. And I think one of them was like, you want to go to the motel? They're like, yeah, I'm driving. Sure, no problem. And I think it was just one of those like,
of course.
One suggested something, the other was like, okay, and then I think it went like that.
Wow.
I don't think it was like we're gonna go fuck in the motel, right? Because we both have homosexual feelings, right? I know that the song said about the Bible and prayer, but you know what I'm saying, right? I feel like it was more like a unspoken, it's gonna happen thing. I feel like so. He eventually, Dan believes that he can help Stuffle with his problems.
Oh, yeah.
He can. I know one problem he can help him with.
He fixed one of them. He is the mechanic of that one.
He's got that all taken care of. Fucking in a motel room, he's got it covered.
Done.
So Dan eventually starts talking about maybe you can move into our family home.
Oh, boy.
In Clinton so we can help you out.
Is the wife? Does she know?
Oh no!
Oh, you can't do this.
Yeah, didn't consult with Donna about this at all. Just talk to him about this. Maybe you can come stay at my house and all this sort of thing. Now, when he brings it up to Donna, Donna's like, "Hold on a second." So there's this guy who has like an extensive criminal record and who's having a drug problem currently and a legal problem currently, and you
for theft of fucking firearms.
So he's got weapons, and so you'd like to bring him into our home with our children,
right?
Because that's good, right?
I'm going to bring a very dangerous human being, by all intents, documented purposes, into our family home.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do.
And her concern is you want that around our daughters.
Yeah.
You want that guy around our daughters. But Dan persists with the Christianity of it all. He says, look, that's the Christian thing to do.
Yeah.
This is what we're supposed to be doing, which is,
also, Dan's very well aware that he's not involved in the ladies, so it's fine.
Yeah. Also, he is hung like a horse, so there's that too. So you put those two things together, our Christian responsibility. It's the Lord. I mean, it's not me. It's, upstairs.
Pleasing him.
He's pointing up.
Yeah.
It's the Lord. You know how it goes. It's not, I don't make the fucking rules.
Yeah.
That and
he hears me having to talk you into doing what he wants us to do. So you better hurry up and get on the board because your afterlife depends on this.
And he's working the equipment like a champ. I'm not going to lie. Not.
You know how you are with the organ? He plays a mean one too.
He could take your place on the organ, at least.
On at least one organ that we're aware of.
At least one of the organs. I'm not sure if the church will let him in, but I have other organs. So Dan, though, was persistent on this. Oh, no, we need to do this. And he took his family to meet Stuffle and Stuffle's parents, because Stuffle lived with his parents at this point. Yeah. So he takes his family to meet them. Great outing for the kids. How'd you like to be a kid there? We're going to meet who?
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo and his parents that you met? Gross. Who wants to see this? So that's a boring day for a kid. So in April 1984, Dan invites Stuffle to Easter services at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Clinton, where they work, obviously. He's the minister of music. Rock on. And at the end of April here, as this goes on, decide that he should move into their house, basically, after Easter comes and goes.
Got the okay.
At the end of April, Stuffle moves into the Arnold's house, which is close to their church.
Okay.
Like, you can see it pretty much from the house. Okay. It's right there there's like a parking lot, and you can see the house and the church from each other. So this will keep him close to the church, which if he goes to church every day, he doesn't have time to do drugs.
Great point.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for here. So now, just before Stuffle moves into the house, Dan comes to Donna with another proposition. Because he's going to have this guy move in, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to have some guy.
Now he wants more favors.
Total stranger move into the house, be around our kids, to get him off drugs. That's normal.
Convict. Go on.
Yeah. So also, he needs somewhere to stay during his legal battle. Also, that's the other thing. So it's an issue.
But don't worry, he has a job through which he got an apprenticeship in prison.
So it's good.
It's going great.
It's not bad. Look at my head. It does a good job. Tell you what. So he sits her down. I don't even know how to bridge this.
Oh, boy.
He sits her down, and he says, okay, this is what I'd like from you. This is what I'd like from you.
Yeah.
I would like you, Donna, to, Stuffle, who's moving in, right? Tell you what, okay. Because I'm picturing this is how he had to have stumbled into this. There's no way. He couldn't just sit this down and confidently spit this out. He had to have stumbled into it, and he said, I want you, Donna, to allow Stuffle to impregnate you.
Oh my God. Okay.
How's that? That so far? How many times have I said the last thing you expected me to say in this fucking case?
How does he? Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan had a vasectomy.
Oh.
But he wanted more kids and wished for Stuffle to be the to be the surrogate.
Yeah, right.
So and we're not going to do this scientifically, though.
Yeah, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Let him bang you,
push himself into you over and over until he finishes getting out what I want out of him.
Yeah. Try to hold it in.
Jesus.
And then
clam shut.
Clam shut. Really, I mean,
vice grips.
Do it up. Yeah.
Stand on your head.
Stand on your head. I was going to say, if you can get upside down, that would be ideal.
Get it all down.
Let's let gravity work its magic.
Really let your fallopian tubes gargle it. That's what I need you to do.
Yeah, soak it on in there is what we need. Maybe if you can.
Kind of shake your ass a little. You seen them hip-hop videos where they make it clap?
If you do that upside down, I think it might work.
I listened to some Outcasts, and they said, it may have been Yin Yang Twins. I can't remember. They said to pussy pop on a handstand. I think that's how you get it. I think that's how you keep it in there.
So why don't you try it at least? At least try it a few times.
Why does he want this? So why did he have the vasectomy? Was it?
I guess he thought
a medical problem, or he was just done with kids?
He was done
with kids, and then he's like, now I'm not.
I want another kid, so he wants Stuffle to do this. So let him bang. Not only that, he said, yeah, it'll get you pregnant, which is we want that also. But there's an additional benefit to this in that this is wild, man. This was said that Stuffle needed an ego boost. Also, he's been real down lately. With the prison and the drugs and the haircutting and the cheap Raleigh hotel sex. He's been down, so this will help him out. He'll feel good about himself if you let him plow you away a little bit here. So at that point, it solves both problems.
Is he okay?
Cool, right? I'll go tell him it's cool.
Did he hit his head? What's going on?
Imagine being Donna right here.
He's the sweetest man alive, P.S.
I mean, he's a nice man.
This man may bang my wife, and I'll raise any child that comes of this.
If he would, anyway, I'll ask him. I mean, I don't know if he would want to. Plus, he's feeling a little down.
Pastor Dan is amazing.
Don't you think
what
that
my
friend's not feeling so good? I let him take a run at my wife. I think maybe that'll lighten his mood up.
Not even just take a run at my wife. Impregnate her.
Yeah, knock her off good.
Please create a financial burden for me.
Raw dog my wife, please. I'd really enjoy it if you raw dog my wife. That would be
get that off of your dick and just jam it in her.
Come on.
Good Lord.
So I don't even know what to say about it. Right away, we are in.
This isn't like a threesome situation.
No.
I won't be here.
No.
Just have it.
Yeah, I'll probably hang out outside and listen a little bit or something, make you guys hors d'oeuvres.
This is
get
unbelievable.
Get drinks if you need it, but he's trying to orchestrate
What a story.
This is insane already, right?
Yeah.
We're barely even scratching the surface here. So,
is anybody surprised at this moment that this is a small town murder? Somebody's going to lose their shit.
Yeah, this isn't good. This is not.
This is terrible.
This is not okay.
What bad ideas.
That sounds terrible. This whole thing. Yeah, this is awful. This is not going to work out.
There has not been a one good idea so far.
So far, there really isn't. Other than George Thorogood Christmas album and religious songs, there really hasn't been any good ideas, I feel like, in this whole thing.
Yep.
Not to pat ourselves on the back, but the only good ideas
We're
came
making
from
the
us.
best decisions out of this whole show so far.
We're making chicken salad out of chicken shit, and these people are not. So
it's delicious.
Now, Donna, she's been asked... I mean, I don't know which is a crazier reason.
Poor Donna.
I'd like you to be pregnant by this man, or it'll boost his ego. Either way, you're like, what am I, a conduit? Like, what am I?
I think I've already bent over
paper
backwards.
bag?
Now
Yeah.
you want me to bend over forwards too?
Yeah.
I have a convict sleeping in my house with my children.
I'm not a fleshlight.
Right.
What are you doing? Just invite people over to boost their ego by humping away on me. And
gelatinous vagina? What's
maybe
happening
we'll get
here?
some kids out of it. Some weird gelatinous.
That's what a fleshlight
it is.
It's
It's a
give
rubbery,
you one. Yeah, it's
whatever the
pretty
shit
good.
thing. Somebody sent us one at
Yeah.
one point, right? Yeah. So Donna's, shockingly enough, she doesn't say, all right. She's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, thank God, Donna.
She's like, are you out of your
Guess
mind?
who's not on drugs?
This is crazy. So she freaked out a bit about it a little bit, and Dan got upset about it. She said no, and he started crying and like was basically hysterical about the whole thing. As Donna says, he was hysterical, and all this shit. So he initially agreed to, I guess no, but he was all upset about it. He was so upset that she finally agreed just to calm him down. She's like, I'll agree for now, and then we'll figure it out later. But
what a wife.
He's having a meltdown right now. We need to quell this. I'll bang your little drug addict barber friend. Sure, no problem. Does that make you feel better?
She is so nice.
I guess so. So, Dan ends up, later on, though, he says that, maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know. Dan goes back and forth on it. So, wow. So, Dan later on decides that it's an inappropriate idea. He's like, that's not appropriate. Yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is wrong here. Clearly.
I was all horned up.
I was
my
horned.
dick talk
I
for
don't know
me.
what I was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I figured
I'm waffling on the stuffle.
Kind of hot, I got some stuffle waffle going on right now. So he ends up moving into the house after all this. First of all, now he's got to move into the house.
Right.
And like this conversation has happened beforehand. How creepy and weird and uncomfortable would that be?
Even weirder if Stuffle's like not really on board with the banging of the wife, and he's
he was into it.
And then is he okay?
Yeah, he was fine with it.
Okay.
No, he brought that up. Dan brought it up to him first. Like, how about you bang my wife?
And he's like,
would you knock her
yeah.
up? And he was like, I'll knock her up. Shit, I got one thing. I got it's jizz. I keep making it.
And then he's got to go stand by and just stand by the door and go, what do you think?
I mean, I whack it a lot. I ain't run out yet. So he's going to stand by the door,
yanking
shrugging.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think, lady?
Good.
Letting your husband talk you into this?
So they're into it. So they move in. He moves in. Stuffle moves in with the Arnolds here. And shortly after they move in, though, the Donna finds a canceled check. A canceled check to a Raleigh motel.
Oh.
Yes. And confronts him about it. Confronts Dan about it. Why do you have a check from a Raleigh motel? Why are you staying in a Raleigh motel? You commute. You didn't sleep over anywhere, so why were you checking in anywhere?
There you go.
So that's the question. She confronted Dan about it. He made up an explanation. And, this was the night that they met. This was that Raleigh hotel. So at the time, Dan lied about it, but the next day, they had a babysitter there while they were doing some stuff. And then while he drove the babysitter home, right before he drove her home, he handed Donna a letter.
Oh.
Said, here you go.
Yep. I can't say it out of my goddamn mouth.
Yep. He said, here's a letter.
Write it.
And then took the babysitter home for an uncomfortable ride, I'm sure.
I'll be back for an even more uncomfortable arrival.
Oh, boy. Thank God there was no texting back then for him.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes into that ride, his phone would have been, oh, shit. Zing, zing, zing. Oh, boy.
As soon as you drop her off, this thing better ring.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the letter, he says that he basically lays out, he says, look, I've been gay since childhood. He said, in his words, he said he's been a homosexual since childhood. And not only that, he has had male lovers in every place that they've lived together, including Clinton, including in this small town. He's found dudes to bang.
Oh, my God.
So I have been banging dudes the entire time we've been married, the entire time we've known each other. I've been banging dudes my whole life because that's what I'm into. Dudes.
Yeah. And it's hard to be that in this fucking society.
Hard to be that here. So I just
give it 10, 15 years. You'll hear a lot of senators about this.
So you just go to church every day and that keeps the gay thoughts down. That's how it works.
God damn it.
You just sing George Thorogood songs and think straight thoughts, I guess, was the thing back then. I feel terrible for anybody that had to go through that.
Or is currently going through it, man. It's
definitely.
Still happening today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's fucking awful.
It's awful. Back then, though, it was... I don't know. It was
unless you're into both and you can hide it that way, and you still got at least one thing. But
he also, he has to have dudes.
Yeah, that's a problem.
He's into it. Yeah,
it's ruining.
It's a problem for a marriage.
Yeah, it's ruining people's lives, not just hers, but also his. It's ruining his fucking life every day.
Yeah, he's got to live two lives, and then she doesn't know what he's doing behind her back.
It's awful. And then he's going to church too, where they're telling him live by God and live you, and
one
always
Bible,
tell
one
the
prayer,
truth.
no queers.
Right.
That's
always tell the truth,
which is the standard. I think that's the slogan for.
I think it's on their flag.
I think it's on there. Yeah, at least on those boards outside of churches that they put those letters on. So, he says that, and he said that the canceled check was from one of these encounters, which was with Stuffle, and it was a one-night stand they had after he met Stuffle. So, she's got to... Wow.
That's a hell of a letter.
You're the minister of music's wife, and you play the church organ, you have your kids, and you wear dresses down to your ankles, and, you got John Cougar Mellencamp taking notes, and life is very calm and... very, whatever by the book, and then you get this letter. Like, what the hell?
This is a squall if there ever was one.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So Donna becomes very upset, rightfully so. Just to not know this about your husband would be, whatever, and leaves the house and drives around for several hours. Just goes and drives around just to, I guess, I don't know. You got to clear your head if you find out your husband has been banging dudes all the time. You can't just go, well, I mean, that happens. You have to take that there. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Now, she considered, over the course of this drive, she considered leaving Dan. Mm-hmm. You know, that was obviously a consideration. Should I leave a guy over this? But then she decided she still loved him. And that the relationship, and more importantly, the family, the children, everything was worth saving. Yeah. So she said, I'm going to stay, and I'm not going to, I'm going to stay. Okay. I'm going to stay. But the next day, she starts banging Stuffle.
Oh, God. What? What the fuck?
Jimmy, you expect that one? Or was that another one that was that another curveball?
I mean,
how many?
There's not a good decision. Not a good decision amongst us.
Every time you're like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen now? She'll bang Stuffle. There you go. Let's complicate it worse. I don't know what else she could do. Besides, she developed a cocaine habit. Like, that would be...
Dear Christ.
Yeah, she began a sexual relationship with Stuffle the next day, which is wild. Yeah. And according to Stuffle, this was going on, what he was telling people, that they were engaging in sexual intercourse about every other day for the next few weeks. So they're just banging away.
Stuffle is loving life right now.
He is stuffling it in there good.
He's really giving her the stuff.
He's at some house. He's not paying rent. Right. He's banging away on this one. They're trying to get him out of his legal difficulty through the church. He's having a great life.
One-nighters in hotels with the guy and having a great time there. He is loving life.
Oh, he's loving it. Yeah.
And he's got a job.
A couple times she didn't want to do it, but he coerced her into having sexual intercourse 3 different times by threatening to tell the community about Dan's bisexuality and also insinuating threats against her children.
Oh, Stuffle, I hate you.
Stuffle's a dick. Yeah. This is not cool.
That's a terrible plan.
Cool. I'll tell everybody. Have the minister of music. I'll show him a butthole and they ain't going to think he's a minister or nothing no more.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not great. So Donna, wow. So they have this relationship, though. I guess it starts out pretty whatever, but then it sounds like it's contentious when...
Yeah, it sounds like she did it because she has a pass now, you know what I mean? And if she's going to be able to just do this whenever she feels, that's great. But now she has to do it whenever he feels. And that's no good.
Yeah, and that's the terrible thing. And now after Dan's big revelation here, Stuffle starts to... Basically, he's trying to be the alpha male of the situation, starts belittling Dan at every opportunity he can, and starts talking shit to him and making fun of him and things like that in his own house with this whole thing while he's banging his wife. So
what the hell, man?
Yeah, this has gotten very weird, and he begins to openly declare his love for Donna. At this point,
I got kids. Shut up, man.
In the house.
Stop
with
it.
him talking shit. Well, you're gay. What do you care?
Oh, my God.
You banged me, so what do you care? I don't know how you'd even... what do you even... What are these arguments even like?
I hate this.
They're too crazy, friend. No one's right. Oh, yeah? Well, this and that. Well, that's true. Oh, yeah? Well, this and that. Well, that's true, too. It was nothing...
That's why you gotta live who you are.
Yeah,
this
is horrible. Now there's blackmail threats. May 18th, 1984. Dan goes to his doctor for help with his nerves. He's that frazzled.
Yeah.
This is May 8th. It took 3 weeks. 3 weeks. He's literally seeking medical help for nerves. He was tearful, crying, and suffering from low self-esteem. He told his doctor that he had seen his wife and Stuffle in bed together, and worried that Carl was younger and better looking than him, and freaking out, basically. And so the doctor prescribed him some mild tranquilizer and told him to chill the fuck out.
Well,
and
that's not going to help.
No,
I mean,
but
it'll help,
it helped.
It's not going to help.
He needed like a calm down, though. I think it was one of those.
He needs to smoke weed.
This guy needed some edibles bad, real bad, at least just a
minimum of chocolate,
just a 20 milligram, or really to take it down a notch. I think for him, 20 maybe that'd be a lot for him. Probably
maybe a 10.
A 10 for him would probably be good.
That'll
20 will make me happy. 20
is a bit much.
It's a bit much for him.
What'd you give my uncle? A 20? That was a 10.
A 10. I gave him a 10.
That's plenty.
A 10 and a bunch of concentrate out of the vape pen. Yeah, a bunch of hits of crumble out of the vape pen. So
he hasn't been the same since.
Good for him. He was so happy.
He's really enjoying his life.
I haven't had this since 72. This is the most happy. I haven't smoked marijuana since 72.
Uncle Danny, you may want to calm down. That's a little different from 72.
Yeah, I was like, I would hit that lightly.
Yeah.
Well, that tastes good, too. That's not like... He used to taste all dirty back in the... That tastes like...
It's real clean. It tastes good.
It tastes like orange juice. That's delicious. Yeah, it is. That's why it'll grab you. Watch out. Watch out. Next thing you know, he's stumbling.
He had a great time.
He had a great time at the live show. So May 22nd, 1984, 4 days later, Stuffle here asks a friend of Dan's, a guy named Daniel Staton, who's a friend of Dan's. He asks him does he know if he can get some weed somewhere? Where can I get some weed around here?
Okay.
So the minister of rock here, his friend, I guess he thinks he can get weed.
Oh, boy.
This doesn't sound like a good place to get weed, this town.
No.
So he asked him if he could get weed. Now, his friend here, Daniel Staton, Dan's friend, told Dan about this conversation.
He did go find weed, Dan.
No, he didn't get him.
Dan tried to find him.
No, Dan's friend, Dan. Dan has a friend named Dan.
Right, but Dan asked his friend Dan to go get Dan some weed?
Stuffle asked Dan. Stuffle asked Dan's friend to get him weed.
Stuffle's not the guy that needs it.
No, I would say not. So Stuffle asked his friend to get weed. So this guy, the friend, told on Stuffle and goes and tells Dan, this guy's trying to get weed.
Great.
Just so you know, because he was here trying to kick his drug habit and all this type of shit and drugs and crime and all this, and now he wants weed. So according to this, now Dan decided that he was going to evict Stuffle at this point. This is the perfect excuse to get him out of here. Yep. Yeah, now we got that going on. So Donna and Dan pack up all his shit. And they found some weird, like a pretty aggressive-looking knife amongst his stash that made him a little uncomfortable. Yeah. He packed up his shit and had it ready to go. Ready to go when he came home. He came back in. They told him never to return, and that was that. And then Dan went with Donna and the kids and his friend Daniel Staton, who told about the weed, and they all went to the beach.
Okay. We got rid of him. Now let's go have a nice
cleanse
day.
Ourselves in the waters of
let's go baptize in the Atlantic.
Let's do it. Yeah. So they do that, and they say that while this happened, Jesus Christ, man, they go to the beach at Dan's request. Daniel confronted Donna about her affair with Stuffle. So he said, come to the beach with me and confront my wife about this for me. Can you bring up a very sensitive, personal, marriage thing with my wife? What? How about you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So he asked his friend to do this.
Dan's not good with words unless it's the Bible, it seems like.
Yeah, or George Thorogood lyrics.
Yeah.
So Dan's friend Dan does it, confronts her, and she never responded, never gave a response, but just started crying. So that's a pretty good response.
She regrets it.
She responds with tears. It's probably probably happened. So early June of 1984, Stuffle is put in the hospital. He's put in the Arnolds kind of have him committed.
Oh,
basically.
Those hospitals.
It's like a drug rehab, but he asks them to do it too. He asks for help. Will you put me in here and make it so I can't check myself out? because I want to kick this shit, right? So Stuffle does that. This is the Dorothea Dix Hospital here. This is early June 84. Now, they would come to see him all the time, though. He's a patient there for about a month. And the Arnolds would come to see him, which is fucking crazy.
What do they do?
I don't know.
I thought we're trying to wash our hands of him.
Nope, they can't stop. Now, he's there. The worker, the social worker that's working with him, and the psychologists that are working with Stuffle while he's in there, basically said that Stuffle told them that he was in love with Donna, and he hoped that she would leave her husband to be with him. I'm hoping she'll leave him. And he told Stuffle that such a relationship was unrealistic and asked Stuffle what other options were available when he was released from the hospital. Let's not depend on her leaving her husband and you guys being together. What else can you do?
You know how difficult that has to do? There's so much that has to happen for that to line up. Let's think about something that's,
let's be realistic.
Within grasp.
Week 1, where can you go?
Yeah.
So apparently Stuffle said, quote, Donna and I could run away. And then he paused, and the psychologist said he looked at him and grinned and said, or I could kill him. But it was like a, sarcastic, let me get away with that.
Tongue in cheek.
That could happen. So he said, don't do either of those things.
Right.
Just worry about
bad plans.
Yeah. So the Arnolds kept visiting. The staff, this guy's name is Dubrick, the guy who works there. He said that he and his staff members observed Stuffle, Mrs. Arnold, and Dan Arnold here, Donna and Dan and Stuffle, huddling together in the hallways. And they said the first impression was that there was some sort of religious thing, like they were praying together. Some, I don't know, they're all in church and shit like that. So they just assumed they were praying. They said after a while, though, the practice was perceived as, quote, more sexual than anything else. Like they were huddling up together in the hallways and feeling each other. I don't know what was going on, but that's
hand jobbing.
That's the staff was saying. It was a more sexual thing, and they were ordered not to touch one another while on hospital grounds anymore.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like there was some... They huddled together so they could not be seen, and I don't know what was going on.
It's like an actual circle jerk, James.
Yeah. It's fucking so weird. He said it was a sexual feeling type of thing.
Gross!
With the physical contact.
That is called a circle jerk.
That is a little weird circle grope and jerkin.
Oh, my word.
Grope and jerkin. Yeah. That's the German version. So they said it was inappropriate and distracting to other patients. So please don't do that.
Put those away.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Stuffle was sick from drug use, he said, and he called the Arnolds at that point, begging for help. That's why they ended up in the hospital. He called begging for help, and they said, fine, we'll put you in a hospital. You can't live here anymore. The sheriff's deputy who drove Stuffle and the Arnolds to the hospital to drop him off said that Donna Arnold was the only one who could control Stuffle.
Yeah.
She could control him. Nobody else could. So, there was that. After they dropped him off, they had left for a week in the mountains and wrote and called Stuffle frequently while they were there. Then when they got back, they went and visited him. They were jerking each other off or whatever they were doing. They got yelled at. It's fucking weird. So they visited him several times a week. So Bill Dubrick, who's the therapist here, he said that the sexual thing was obviously very weird. And
I see it. I see it happening.
That's
in front of a Coke machine.
It's just in a hall. What are they doing over there? Everybody trying not to look.
Right, like they're about to pray. Just everybody join Jenny's.
Yep,
just grab
heads down
each other
in the middle. Everybody hold the cock of the man to your left. Sorry, Donna. I'll leave you out of this one. So the staff asked them to stop touching him, and at one point, they were discussing options for the future. And he said, I just want to run away with Donna. He kept saying it. Stuffle said that. Also, the therapist told Dan at one point that, by the way, he's mentioned several times that he could kill you. So he wants to be with your wife, and killing you seems to be an option. We don't know how serious he is, but heads up on that one.
So you know.
Just so you know.
Good
Maybe you could
Lord.
put it to music. I'm not sure.
Some bad news.
Yeah. So Dan told the therapist that he would lose his position with the church if he didn't end his relationship with Stuffle. But then Dan said that he would rather move than end his relationship with Stuffle. He'd rather uproot his family and his job and everything and move so he can keep this relationship going.
Why does he want it?
I don't know. I want this guy out of your life as quickly as possible. So now, and this was actually serious because later on, Donna finds a resume that Dan wrote out and everything. Like he's looking for a new job, and it's dated June 8th, 1984, when Stuffle was in the in Dick's. So it all lines up when he was in Dick's.
Yeah.
When Stuffle was in Dick's. That really, we have to take a second as comedians to recognize that we just said stuff and Dick's in the same sentence.
Stuff and Dick's.
With a one word in between them. And it was fine. So July 5th, 1984, Stuffle asks permission to leave Dick's on a weekend pass.
Yeah.
And they said, you can have vaginas this weekend and this weekend. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Come on back.
Leave the Dicks. For the Dicks. Leaving the Dicks hospital on a weekend pass. Dan initially agreed that Stuffle could visit them in Clinton for the weekend.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy. But then he later called back the hospital to revoke his permission.
Yeah, to come to his senses.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, Dan was hysterical because he said that Stuffle had told him about her affair with Stuffle. So this is before Donna just cried, didn't say anything. Now Stuffle has detailed and laid it out for Dan.
Oh, boy.
So Dan's very upset and doesn't want him to come over. So, they said that he was, although Dan had been hysterical and shouting and crying when he called to say, don't send him here. Then he called back the next day to said, I changed my mind. You could send him.
Oh my God.
So Stuffle's therapist, though, knowing about this craziness and also knowing about the homicidal ideations that Stuffle has for them. He says, tell you what, he talked to Dan, the therapist, and encouraged him to break this relationship off with Stuffle. Just don't do it. So they end up not allowing the visit. This hospital staff says, you're not allowed to leave this weekend. Just keeps him there that weekend. So that weekend, the Arnolds brought Stuffle's car and belongings to Raleigh and told them never to return to their home. So they brought the shit to the hospital, said, here's all your shit, never come back. Every day it's different. Come here, don't come here. Here's all your shit, don't come back. Next day they'll be,
This is a broken relationship.
This is
so ruined already.
It's so weird. So it's completely fucked. So the Dubrick, the therapist, he said that Stuffle was depressed after the visit and was sure that Donna still loved him and wanted to be with him. Stuffle kept saying, she loves me and she wants to be with me. I don't understand what's going on. Wow. So July 12th, 1984, Stuffle is released from the hospital. And now we bring in our next character.
Yeah.
Who's got a name that could only come out of Small Town Murder.
Great.
Between Carl Edward Stuffle and Gerald Junius Tart.
Yep.
Which they sound like they're looking for a golden ticket to go to Wonka's factory. Did Gerald Junius Tart get a ticket? Gerald Junius Tart. Junius, Junius.
This is a man?
Gerald Junius Tart.
Okay.
And Carl Edward Stuffle.
Yeah.
They sound like Dr. Seuss characters.
They do.
This is ridiculous.
One's got a little curly Q on his head.
Totally.
Yeah.
And big,
and
stupid.
the other one's got no hair on the
feet.
sides, just like a poof.
Yep. Blonde.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Bright yellow.
So after...
with unbelievably long necks.
Super long. And size 28 feet.
Yes.
So...
And they walk on the ceiling.
You know it. So Stuffle's released from the hospital. After he does, he moves in with Gerald Junius Tart, his friend. They'd been friends since they were teenagers.
Yes.
They'd been engaged in many, many criminal acts together. They've been in and out of jail together. They do drugs together. It's his jerk-off teenage friend.
Right.
Now, Tart gets Carl a job for the same maintenance company that he works for.
Yeah.
So he can,
handyman shit.
Handyman shit, exactly. So they first met in 1981, Tart and Stuffle.
Oh, God.
Tart and Stuffle.
Yeah.
That's the worst cop show on television.
They are
this Thursday.
They are the reason that Angie's List was created, to keep gentlemen like this out of
your home.
Out of your home, fixing your refrigerator.
Jesus.
That you should be replacing anyway.
In the middle of the day.
Right.
Good God.
This is horrible.
They met in 1981, and they had committed break-ins and taken drugs together and even served jail time together, both as a youth and as adults.
Oh, my God.
They're doing great.
They go back.
Yeah. He said that that ended up happening. Now, he asked his friend, Gerald Junius Tart, on July 4th, he said, will you do me a favor, Gerald Junius Tart?
You love him.
Gerald Junius Tart?
You love his name so much.
It's the stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. I was like, if the rest of this story isn't good enough for a small-time murder, Gerald Junius Tart will do it. Put it over the top.
That better be a family name.
Oh, my God.
Because whoever picked that
your uncle, your great-grandfather Junius Tart.
We're going to give you his name as your middle name. Because he created so much.
Yeah.
Like, it was going to be the Orange Junius, but he hated it, so he chose the Julius.
Get me an Orange Junius. Sounds delicious. So he asked Gerald Junius Tart. He said, Gerald Junius Tart, will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you murder that Dan for me?
Oh, my.
Would you do that, please? Murder Dan for me. Initially, Tart said, I guess so. Why not? Sure, I'll knock him off. What the hell? But then he didn't do it. Because this is while he was in the hospital. Stuffle's like, I'm in the hospital, so they'll know it's not me. Right. So you go kill the guy, and they'll go, oh, who the fuck knows? And it'll come out that he has like boyfriends and shit. They'll think it's one of them. Don't worry about it. He does all sorts of stuff. So apparently Tart agreed to it, but he didn't carry it out because a police officer had noticed him loitering near the Arnold home and asked him what he was doing. And he said, oh, I'm just walking here. And the cop let him go. But then if the guy, he comes up dead that night,
if anything happens, that's the first guy you're looking for.
Exactly. I was talking to a drifter that night. Right. So that's
a drifter named Junius.
Gerald Junius Tart's going to stick in your brain.
We'll holler at that guy first.
No shit.
Because I saw a cop and my name is Gerald Junius. That's
why I can't do it.
Do you know now?
Tart, by the way. So he and Tart, Stuffle and Tart, Jesus, and they plot to how they're going to kill Dan, basically. How can we do it before you get out of the hospital? Then he gets out of the hospital. Maybe we can do it after you get out of the hospital. Let's figure that out. By the way, so they're plotting to kill him. By the way, Dan has a plot too. Oh, Dan has a plot too. By July 17th, Dan is also plotting to kill Stuffle. Oh, this is an arms race now. Yeah, now we have
a little Mexican standoff.
This turned into now whoever gets it first. This is
crazy.
This isn't a predator and prey situation.
We got Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh boy!
On that day, he sent a letter to his friend Bill Poole stating that he would kill Stuffle if he thought he could get away with it, and he was considering how that could be possible. He's like, I'd love to kill this fucking guy.
Got any ideas, Mr. Poole?
Any ideas, Chief?
Could use a hand.
I mean,
he's a criminal.
He writes this in a letter, though, and then mails it. Why would you do that? He's not a criminal. That's why. He doesn't know. So Dan asks his friend to contact. This is what Dan gets into. He's serious about this. He gets his friend to contact various drug dealers. Now, Stuffle had drawn up, this is what a scumbag Stuffle is too. Stuffle had drawn up a list of drug dealers that he knew. Just that guy sells that. A list of drug dealers in anticipation of trying to make a deal for that firearms charge that he has.
Oh my God.
He's trying to get out of that whole thing. So he's basically making lists of information that he can offer the police in exchange for dropped charges. So he's got a list of drug dealers at the house. Dan has that list of drug dealers. Dan asks his... Jesus, Frank.
Call these guys.
Call these drug dealers.
Here's the yellow pages of murderers, I guess.
I suppose. Here's a bunch of criminals. Call them, and so this is...
Dan thinks like a TV guy.
Yeah,
like,
well, maybe they'll kill him, is his thought.
He's seen so much TV.
What if they'll kill him.
They're into one thing, they're into all of it.
Yeah, that's how it would. So Dan hoped the drug dealers would just kill Stuffle. That would be that, and, problem solved.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's smarter than the other plan, I guess.
Suppose.
So the letter, but the letter says, quote, that's what one person says, but the letter says, quote, they're part of it. I have told Donna that in the event I cannot find someone to help me have Carl done in for what he has done to us, I have it in me to kill him myself. I want him dead, and I will not rest until he is.
Wow.
That's from Dan.
My God, Dan speaks like a 1700s man from the West.
This
on the prairie. If I can't have him done in for what he done to us.
He speaks like he's writing to relatives back east.
Right.
Yeah. I've been in Dodge City for 7 months now. I've seen many men, men killed.
A man named Carl has done some things to us. If I have it in me to fix him.
In the event that I cannot find someone to help me have Carl done in for what he has done to us, I have it in me to kill him myself.
I have it in me.
Then ellipses, ... I want him dead, and I will not rest until he is.
My man.
That's that's basically Tombstone.
Yeah.
He just laid down the cowboy gauntlet, and he's going to go out there and...
He said that with a jacket on covered in dust. Like, that is an amazing...
He dipped his pen in his quill and ink, and then he did until it's done.
And to seal the envelope, he used wax.
Yep, he melted it. So, July 18th, 1984, the next day. This is coming to a head. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So, this is on that night, Dan And Donna participated in the service at the Emmanuel Baptist Church. And while at church there, by the way, that day, weird church conversation. Remember his friend Danny Statton?
Yeah.
Okay, Danny Statton. Dan asked Daniel Statton to kill Stuffle.
That guy?
At church.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, hey, remember I asked you to contact those drug dealers? Well, the wheels are moving pretty slow.
Yeah.
These drug dealers, I don't know if they're backed up. It's a busy time of year. It's the summer. I don't know if they're on vacation.
Maybe it's you, Dan.
They take off in July, right?
Yeah,
The drug dealers, I think, they take the whole month off. They go to Paris.
At least this whole week, it's 4th of July.
So I can't get a hold of anybody there. You think you could just kill him for me? Weird church talk.
I remember you confronted my wife for me, so what if you did this too?
This is the same thing, right? This is asking too much.
It's
First confront my wife. Okay, I'm out right there.
Right.
But I guess if you're going to go along with it, you're friends with them, that's fine. Then, after that, can you call this list of drug dealers? Well, not really. I don't really want to do that. But you know what? Fine. It's a phone call. How bad could it be? Then, hey, you want to kill this guy? No.
Absolutely not.
No. I'm drawing the line there. And he said, no. Dan Statton said, I am not killing this guy. We're in church.
I go to church.
Pay attention.
We're here right now.
Yeah. Are you listening to what they're saying this whole time?
Obviously, I'm not into that.
You need more classes.
Yeah.
So Dan informed him then, well, I guess if you won't do it, I'll just contact the drug dealers on the list and I'll see if they'll kill Stuffle.
Okay.
Look, they don't want him. They don't like him anyway. Maybe one hand can wash another and we can both get rid of this fucking guy.
Okay.
This guy's going to rat on you and he fucked my wife. So,
right.
and me. So Statton discouraged him from this. He goes, don't do that. That's not right. He said that, basically he said, look, if you do this, you're going to end up dead yourself. You're messing with drug dealers and crazy people. And
it's horrifying.
This isn't you.
Right.
You're the minister of music at the church with your wife who's the organist. This isn't what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell you turned into Breaking Bad all of a sudden, but no, this isn't the way it works.
This is insane.
I don't know when he turned into Breaking Gay, but this shit is weird.
Listen, this is Breaking Dan, so I got to fix this.
I'm telling you, that should be the name of the episode, Breaking Gay.
Breaking Dan?
Or
you
Breaking
can't put
Dan.
gay in iTunes, can you?
Probably not. I don't know. So, I don't know what the hell's going on. So, Statton discouraged him from doing this. Now, after this, they ended up returning home.
Yeah.
They get home after church. It's night. It's like a full day of church, by the way. This is like, they don't go for an hour.
Oh, boy.
They're not worried about the games on. So, so Michelle Honeycutt is there as well. Michelle Honeycutt is receiving a piano lesson from Donna. She's a friend of theirs. She's a grown woman who's getting a piano lesson, by the way. And I think of like an 8-year-old when I think piano lesson.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn to play piano at any age, it's fine.
Maybe it's a bucket list.
I mean, who knows? I'd like to learn how to play a little. So Michelle Honeycutt, she says that during the lesson that Donna tried to find her contact lens stuff because her eyes were irritated. She had her lenses in all day, so she was looking for the solution and all that shit. So she was looking for it, and she realized that she left her pocketbook at church that has her contact lens shit in it. She's like, God damn it. Left my pocketbook in there. My lens shit's in there. Now what the fuck am I going to do? So she's upset. She tells Dan, I left my damn pocketbook at church. So Michelle Honeycutt says Dan said he would go back to the church and get her pocketbook. That's nice. And Michelle says that Donna, she offered first. She said she'd go with him. I'll go with you. We'll go together. And she said, and then Dan said back to her, no, you stay here. You and Michelle practice. You're doing that. You don't need, I'll be right back. It's right over there. Who cares?
Okay.
So she said, well, I don't have to have it tonight. I have some stuff in the bathroom. I was just looking for it, and it's there. So if you want to go in the morning, that's fine too.
Donna, I'm a good husband.
And she's like, that Michelle can't play piano for shit. If I hear fucked up scales one more time, my head's gonna explode.
She needs the few more minutes.
I'm leaving. Yeah, this is ridiculous. So Dan goes to church to get the purse. So about a half hour goes by.
Yeah.
No Dan.
Oh.
45 minutes. No Dan.
I can see it.
It's like 11
Church
o'clock.
is right
yeah,
there.
It's right over there. It's like 11 o'clock at night, though. Dan hasn't come back yet. First, they're like, he probably got into a conversation with somebody that was lingering, and, he's social and whatever. But then, after about 45 minutes, Michelle Honeycutt says, let's go over and look for him since the piano lesson was over. So it's Michelle and they get Donna and the kids in the car,
okay.
Donna and Dan's kids, and they drive over to the church. Okay. Their one daughter, Dana, is 6 years old at this point. Okay. So this is a quote from Michelle Honeycutt as they're driving up to the church. Quote, Dana was the first to see something lying on the ground. I got on her. I said, don't say things like that. She said she thought this child was teasing. She said, someone's on the ground. She was like, don't say that. She thought she was picking on. The kid was just joking around. Like, what's that over there?
That's awful.
Yeah. She said, quote, then we could see someone clearly lying on the ground. Everyone in the car started screaming and crying. She said she didn't bring the car to a full stop. She put the car in, she said, without even putting it into a full stop, she put it in reverse, which the transmission loved her for that. Yeah. Like a cop, basically. Yeah. What am I, 12 miles an hour? Park. Jump right out. What the fuck are you doing? Have to pay for that transmission, asshole.
Lurches back and forth.
We have to pay for that. Right. Stop. Transmissions aren't free. Police officers. Sorry.
I see her fucking speedy chase videos.
I get lawsuits, that. I'm going to save every municipality in this country a lot of money right now. Money. Unless there's a life or death chase going on, tell the cops to make a complete stop before putting the car in park, like they would with their own car.
Yeah.
At home, when you go to the grocery store, do you just fucking drift?
Violently
just float into a spot and throw it in park to stop from hitting the other car in the parking lot?
Transmission e-brake?
No, you don't. No one does that.
The automatic doesn't have an e-brake.
Like, fuck it, I don't know, in this thing. Clang. Like, no. Stop doing that.
I love when I see them chase people and they like pull up to, like the videos, the body cams, shit, when they pull up to an event and they fucking slam it in park, and then they go to jump out of the car and their seatbelt isn't even undone.
Yeah, that's not even undone. Take the time.
Yeah.
While you're undoing your seatbelt, come to a complete stop. How about that? You took a second.
Yeah.
You ruined the transmission, then took a second to take your seatbelt off. Let's just think about it logically. That's all.
Every time I see one of those body cam things where somebody gets shot, I watch for that part, and then I just stop and go to the next video.
Like,
I know how this ends.
I don't want to see somebody
this
die.
This part's the good part.
I don't like watching people die, first of all. That's not
watching
fun.
This guy fuck up a car and himself is my favorite part.
Every time I'd watch any show like that, I'm like, why don't you stop first?
Stop the car.
Stop. That extra second, is that going to be the thing?
You're murdering my taxpayer transmission.
Jesus. So, so they're doing this. Everybody in the car started screaming and crying.
Yeah.
And throws the car in reverse and went to a nearby convenience store to call for help. Everybody was screaming because they just saw somebody lying on the ground. Honeycutt here said, quote, I told them just to quit screaming and pray. No, figure this out that person could need help. Prayer is not what we need right now. Right. Medical assistance is probably good if someone's lying on the ground, you think they're in trouble.
The screaming is a natural reaction that, 6-year-olds do.
Exactly. Get medical help, and then while the medical staff are working on it, then you can pray about it all you want at them. But let's get the thing that actually works done first, and then you can pray, and maybe that'll work too. But I'm just saying, that's fine.
Calm the girls down, but don't tell them don't.
Yes. So once they get there, they find it is the lifeless body of.
Yeah.
You don't even know. Who could it could be anybody at this point.
And then we'll tell you next week.
Dan Arnold. No. Stay tuned next week to find out who's dead.
It's Dan.
It's Dan.
God damn it.
Dan is dead on the ground in the lawn of the church. Mm-hmm. Right in the church lawn. He has been beaten about the head.
Oh my God.
And his throat is cut. And he has been stabbed repeatedly.
Oh, my God.
More than you can count.
Just a
been
vicious death.
Hacked up, throat cut, beaten badly. And right next to him, lying right next to him.
The pocketbook.
His wife's purse.
Oh, he got it.
Yep.
God damn it.
Wife's purse right next to him.
What a great husband.
In a pool of blood with his wife's purse there, clutched in his hand. The really weird thing about this, is if that's not weird enough to find the minister of music dead in the yard of the church, is... Once they do the autopsy and everything, they find out that he was repeatedly stabbed with 2 different knives, which is odd.
Two-handed.
Very strange. Very strange two-handed attack.
It's hard.
I've seen that once in my life, and I've heard of it once, and that was a kid in high school stabbed a kid with steak knives like that.
2 of them.
On the first day of school. He was all fucked up on dust and shit, though. He did it, and then he went and sat under a tree, and the cops just took him. But he brought steak knives and hacked this motherfucker up real bad.
Lord.
Yeah, he almost died. It was bad. He stabbed him in the throat. There was
What?
Oh, yeah.
It's just a fountain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my friend got blood all over my shirt because I had loaned it to him. He was in the
son
office.
Of a bitch.
Yeah. So, anyway. It was bad stuff. So anyway, wow. They find him in the lawn. This is, like I said, very hard. The children are crying hysterically, obviously, about this. They found their dad dead, which is horrible.
Like right away, too. That's super fucked up.
Yeah. They said that Donna was used a tissue to wipe her eyes and nose. She said that she had to restrain Donna with a bear hug to prevent her from running to the body and all of that sort of thing. She said she tried to console her, saying, quote, Donna, it's too late. He's already gone. As you could see that his throat was, I mean, it wasn't like anything. CPR wasn't going to be a help at all. She was screaming and wanted to get out of the car, but she wouldn't let her do it at that point. So after the police and rescue personnel get there, Mrs. Honeycutt says that Donna went into shock. She said, quote, she was just kind of standing there, kind of staring. She said that she had to help Donna back into the car, back in there, and basically put her feet in the car for her.
Wow.
Like she couldn't. She was catatonic almost here, and drove her back to the house. So that's weird. So the next day comes up, and Michelle Honeycutt is kind of sticking by Donna to, just being a friend. She's helping her out, helping her with the kids.
Thank God for her at this point.
She needs her there, playing bad piano. She listened in, Michelle did, on a phone conversation she overheard and ended up picking up the other line to hear, because she's nosy, between Donna and Stuffle.
Oh.
And yes, this is apparently when Stuffle finds out about this. And she heard Stuffle asking, quote, do they have any leads or know anything yet? Mm-hmm. That's what she heard there. And that was the day after, like we said. And she said, quote, Donna told him that we have to be strong and pray. And Carl said, yes, like we talked about last week.
Oh.
That's what Michelle heard.
Uh-huh.
So Honeycutt was like, okay, that's a weird thing. Listening to that. And then afterwards, Donna said that he called to say happy birthday. Because, oh, by the way, it's Donna's birthday today. Yeah, it's her birthday this day. The next day. Yep. She said that he just tried to act like he was surprised, is what Michelle got out of Stuffle. That's what it sounded like to him. He didn't seem surprised to me. Okay. So this Michelle is seeing some stuff. She said, quote, I said, Donna, do you think Carl could have done this? And she said, real gentle, like, no, he's just not that kind of person. Okay. So that's what Donna said. And another church member said, called Donna, because the press was asking about stuff now. One lady said that she was, quote, a Class A lady, a model mother, and was very devoted to her husband. So, poor woman. Now some letters are found. Oh, boy. This is some letters written by Donna to Stuffle. One of which says, quote, words cannot fully express how anxious I am for Wednesday. By the way, Wednesday is when Wednesday was July 18th. For Wednesday, I have real fears for your safety, though our someday is very close. That's what she had written Stuffle.
What the shit,
the
Donna?
Week before. Also is a letter written by Stuffle to Donna on August 8th, 1984, so a few weeks later, in which Stuffle asks Arnold to reply. He says, quote, wish I knew where you were all at. I'd come right away if you want me to do that. Gerald Junius Tart, that is, and his girlfriend send their love and best wishes. He's been real strong through all this. So he's been really strong through all this. Why would Junius Tart need to be strong? Weird, right?
Is it because you're crying about the loss of your friend?
Well, it's a little more than that, I think. By the way, 2.5 years go by.
Oh, boy.
Nothing.
They got
nothing. They don't arrest anybody.
Yeah.
They have no leads. They have no nothing. They know there's something weird going on here.
Yeah.
They're suspicious of Stuffle because, everything was fine. Then they bring a criminal into the house, and now
he's dead.
And so that's a thing.
Weird fucking letters.
There's some weird letters. They don't know about the letters yet, though.
Okay.
So they're investigating this. Over this time, Donna collects $200,000 in insurance as well, which is a lot of money in the mid-'80s. Still is now, but in the mid-'80s, it's a shitload of money.
My mind for that.
You could buy a fucking huge house there, as we found out, for less than that. Now.
Back then.
Now, in 85, you could probably buy half the town.
Back then, you could probably buy that $300,000 house.
Probably. Christ, two of them, I would think, back then. So, man, this is wild. Donna said that Stuffle when asked about things. Now, when they talked to Donna here in 1987 and all over the years, she said that Stoffel began making advances toward her after her husband revealed that he was a homosexual to her. Okay. That was her words, not mine. She said, quote, "One day he called me to his room and said he was so uncomfortable because he was aroused."
Okay.
This is what she said.
Yeah.
She said this is with Stoffel. This is her first sexual encounter. "I'm so uncomfortable. My dick is so hard." That's a weird thing.
I can't get this to go away.
Oh, man. He kept on and said that this would be my way of getting even with Dan. She said at first she resisted, but then she gave in. So
sometimes you got to relieve your friends. Didn't you see in plain sight when that guy jerked off his friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that
same
was the
thing.
Strangest scene ever. That belongs in this thing here.
It will not go away. They say after 8 hours, get a doctor. It's only been 6. Maybe you're my doctor.
What do I do?
Be a wet nurse?
So while they were at the hospital, apparently Dan and Donna had told Stoffel that they were in love and wanted to be together, but then they had you know how that kept going back and forth. So finally, February 1987, back to Gerald Junius Tart, the kingpin of the linchpin of this whole thing, not kingpin.
Right.
So Gerald Junius Tart is picked up by the police here. He is arrested for some other shit, breaking and entering charge. Okay. So he's arrested for that, and he is facing a long prison term because this is like multiple breaking and entries,
right.
And he's on parole and the whole deal. So his mother, Tart's mother, who also knew Stoffel, at this point produced copies of the letters that Donna had sent to Stoffel as a bargaining chip here.
Oh.
So to gain Tart's release, like, hey, I know who killed that guy.
Yeah.
This breaking and entering isn't a big deal. Look at this conspiracy murder plot that I have here. So that's
you think my son's a bad guy? Look at this paperwork.
Look
Not
at that.
so bad, is he?
Yeah. So this leads police to Stoffel, who ends up, in a lot of trouble here because Tart is alleged to be the man who drove Stoffel to Clinton and then back to Raleigh the night of the murder, and also who lied to provide an alibi for Stoffel during the initial phase of the investigation. That's why Stoffel didn't get arrested or anything, or they stopped investigating, because he had an alibi based on Gerald Junius fucking Tart here. Such a silly name to say in a serious way.
Favorite.
I love him. Police were able to, at that point, figure out from there what's going on, and they get a confession out of Stoffel.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Stoffel gives it up pretty quick.
Stoffel sings.
Yeah, Stoffel sings. Now, here's Tart's story, because they have different stories.
Yeah,
very different stories. He said he drove Stoffel to Clinton on the 18th, and because Stoffel didn't want his own car being seen around there. And Gerald Junius Tart said he parked by a Rose's department store and let Stoffel out. He said, quote, "I went to McDonald's and I got something to eat and was watching the high school girls go in and out of McDonald's."
Gross.
He's like 22.
Yeah, but
that's still gross.
Gross.
Yeah. "I returned to my car and waited for him. When he returned, he was bare-chested from the waist up and had something rolled up in his T-shirt. When he turned up, he said, 'Hurry up and get out of here.' I noticed he had blood on his forearms and on his hands. I asked what had happened, and he said that he and Dan had gotten into a fight." So Tart said on the way back, Stoffel said that, quote, said he wished it wouldn't have happened, but he couldn't change it. And then he told him to stop by a creek or a river. So that's a weird thing. He said on the drive back, stop by the creek or the river.
All right.
He said while Stoffel was changing into spare clothes, a scuba knife with a blade about 8 inches long fell from inside the rolled-up T-shirt.
Scuba knife.
This is Tart's story.
Yep.
When Tart stopped by a creek, Stoffel got out, threw the rolled-up clothes and the knife into the creek, and then he says, quote, "We went back to my house and showered. I picked up my girlfriend from work." That's Gerald Junius Tart.
Oh, boy.
Now, February 1987...
I didn't do it. I'm only creep enough to eat at McDonald's and stare at high school girls.
I'll just eating the
That's
Big
all I was
Mac and
doing.
staring at them high school girls.
You think he had a Big Mac?
The chicken nuggets just came out a couple years ago. They're pretty good.
He got 4 39-cent hamburgers.
I think he
That's
did,
what
probably, with no drink.
Yeah.
No drink. and a cup of water.
A cup of water.
No ass.
That is the most disgusting thing.
So February 1987, they arrest Donna too.
Oh?
They arrest Stoffel and they arrest Donna. Mm-hmm. So Donna is arrested in Virginia where she's with her family, and she fights extradition.
Really?
While she's in Virginia, they give her a bond and let her out of jail in Virginia while they're trying to extradite her. Here is a picture of Donna going to court.
Oh, Donna.
Does that look like a woman who you'd go, oh, man, she's a wild and crazy lady?
No.
Look at her.
Ankle length.
Wrist
length.
Yeah.
Everything covered. So conservative.
Yeah.
That lady is arrested for the murder of her husband.
That lady.
Wow.
That is fucking wild. I haven't showed you Stuffle yet.
She looks like the most conservative librarian on earth.
Absolutely. And we'll post that on our at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, there at Small Town Murder on Instagram. We'll post that. So the police talk to Donna. Here, let's get her story and see what she says. Okay. She says several months after the murder that Donna, she said that she had been involved in an affair with Stuffle. She admitted that
after the murder.
Several months later, she said, "Okay, fine, I was in an affair there." She said she found out about her husband's gayness, and after finding, I don't know, whatever, indiscretion. No, it wasn't what he did. It was the point that he wanted to fuck guys all the time and not be married to her, probably. Yeah. So,
this gayness.
I don't know. I figure that the essence of his gayness is the bigger issue in a marriage.
But it sounds
as a person, it doesn't matter, but in a marriage, it's a problem.
Sounds like royalty.
It does.
It does.
His royal gayness. His royal gayness.
Yeah.
Sir Daniel Arnold. That's what she said anyway. Ministry of Music. Yeah. So after finding in his jacket stub, she says the receipt for the canceled check for the hotel.
Yeah.
She said that Stuffle forced her to have sex with him 3 times by threatening to expose her husband's, quote, illness, is the way she put it. His illness. Wow.
Lady.
Yeah. So she told them that he had encouraged her by saying that she had an opportunity to get even and all this sort of thing. She says they only slept together 3 times. That's it. 3 times, and it was all coerced.
Her and Stuffle.
Yeah. And that's not what other people know, though.
Sure.
Here's Stuffle here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, what?
Young guy.
What? Really?
Yeah, look at him there.
He looks like a banker.
Kind of on the suit. He's got a beard. He's a dirtbag. Not that beards make you a dirtbag, but in '85, a beard was not the same thing as
everybody
now.
Was clean cut, and it was not a fashion statement then.
No, it was just like I don't want to do this.
I'm lazy, and I
can't get a razor that works right.
I'm tired of this shit.
So he says that a few days after he moved in with Tart, this is Stuffle's story now.
Yeah.
That he and Tart broke into a scuba diving shop, stealing an assortment of equipment, including knives and spear guns.
Whoa!
That's what they were planning on.
What? Huh?
Stuffle says they intended to murder Dan with a spear gun, with both of them having spear guns. Jesus Christ. But after target practice in Tart's yard,
I can't hit shit with this.
They deemed the weapons were unsuited to the task. They said they were more accurate underwater because that's what they're made for. Right. You know, they're not made for shooting the minister of music in a church parking lot, you fucking nutcases. Not to be used in a church parking lot, it should say right on the box.
Not for shooting, through the air at human beings.
Try to avoid that.
This is a last-ditch effort to save you from Jaws, is what it is.
That's what it is, just in case Jaws is coming.
Right.
So Tart swore, by the other hand, Stuffle's got one story, Tart's got another. Tart said he did not participate in Stuffle's burglary of the scuba shop and that he never had any spear guns at his house. However, Tart's former girlfriend said that Tart and Stuffle visited the scuba shop the day before the burglary and she saw a spear gun in Tart's closet.
Oh, my.
So, Stuffle further says that he and Donna said that she would leave her pocketbook at the church on the evening of July 18th and then send Dan for it, giving Stuffle the opportunity to attack. How else would Stuffle know he's going to be in the parking lot?
She tried to talk him out of it, James.
So on that evening, Stuffle says that he and Gerald Junius Tart lay in wait in the woods near the church until Dan popped up. They said that Stuffle says that he and Tart killed Dan. He said that he and Donna were in love and that she asked him to kill Dan because she feared that a divorce would be too hard on the children. Yeah, dead fathers, finding their father's corpse is much easier on them.
Oh, my God.
That's fine. He agreed to kill Dan only because he loved Donna, is what he said. Now, Tart, this is what Stuffle says. Stuffle says Tart first hit Dan with a slapjack, weapon there. Yep. And then Stuffle stabbed Dan in the chest. And then Tart finished him off by cutting his throat. That's what he said.
Wow.
Making up for the 2 knives. Because it'd be hard for one person to beat, stab, cut throat with 2 knives. Yeah. It's difficult.
But also, he's only accounting for 3 wounds at this point.
Yeah, well, he means stab. I'm stabbing away, and he's cutting the throat. That's what he was saying. So it's kind of that deal. Stuffle claimed that Tart definitely helped murder, and he even said it was Tart who inflicted most of the wounds. He's the one who cut his throat and hit him at first. But Tart stated, he says, no. Only part I played was to drive him to the scene, let him out of the car, stare at some high school girls, and then get back in.
Yep.
So prosecutors have to decide what the fuck they want to do here. How do they do this? Who do they charge? How do they charge? Like, you're the prosecutor. Who do you charge here? You have Donna, you have Jarl, Junius, Tart, and you have Stuffle.
I mean, I certainly charge her for sure because she is. If his story is that, and that's exactly what happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might use him to prosecute everybody. Use him as the guy that testifies.
But
and charge everybody.
Who?
I use Stuffle as the testify guy, and then charge everybody.
Okay, what they end up doing, the prosecutors give Gerald Junius Tart full immunity. They believe him.
What?
They believe that he wasn't there. They're gonna. It's more convenient for them to believe he wasn't there. So they believe him when he says, "I just waited at McDonald's." He gets full immunity to testify against Stuffle.
Yeah,
and they charge Stuffle and Donna with 2nd-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
I think that's absolutely crazy.
It's pretty fucked up. It gets worse though. It's pretty interesting here. So they give him total immunity there. So Tart is just a witness at this point.
Oh my God.
Yep, he just admitted that. Tart also maintains that he first heard of Arnold's death. The first time he heard for sure about Dan's death was on the 6 o'clock news the following day. They asked him why didn't he suspect foul play when Stuffle returned to his car. That's when the cops talked to him. Stuffle came back to the car with blood on his forearms and his hands, and Tart responded, "I've seen a nosebleed."
Oh boy,
that could have been nosebleed. He said they got in a fight
so much.
He's lying like
he's
a motherfucker.
An asshole.
He's a fucking liar, Gerald Junius Tart. While a patient at Raleigh Hospital, Stuffle asked Tart to kill Arnold, like we said, and Tart testified that when he saw the blood on Stuffle's arms, Tart asked what happened. Stuffle told Tart that they'd been in a fight with Dan, and that, Carl had told Dan that he loved Donna, and that's how it went. Tart also said that after that night, Stuffle expressed remorse over the subject of the death. So there. Tart's testimony, he said, quote, "He told me that he could get him out of the house the day after the Wednesday night service. Stuffle said that he would leave something at the church, and then he said that he would pay me if that's what I wanted." And Tart said that Stuffle had mentioned money could be left in Mrs. Arnold's pocketbook for Tart to take after the killing. So this is the plan.
I'm having a huge problem with the charges based on the fact that if Stuffle will say what he did and implicate his friend too, he's implicating himself. And I stabbed him right in the chest.
Yeah.
First stab, me. I did it.
Yeah.
His story adds up.
His story adds up more than Tart's.
More than anybody's story.
Yeah. So Tart testified. He said that he would testify. He later will say that he said he refused to kill Arnold after the third time that Stuffle asked him to. He said, "After I was supposed to have killed Dan, I just told him I couldn't do it. That I didn't go. And then I didn't go to Clinton." That's what he said. So he said. Sometime after this, Tart said that he went to a Raleigh swimming pool where the Arnolds had taken Stuffle on a day pass from the hospital. He sat on the edge of the pool, and Tart said that Stuffle introduced him to Donna. Tart said that Donna was standing in the water talking to him while this was obviously when Dan was still alive, while her husband was playing with their daughters about 20 feet away. Tart said, quote, "She said that she and Carl had been talking and asked me if I could help them with their problem. I told them that I didn't think so," adding, quote, "one of them," and she said, quote, "money would be no problem." She said, "Okay, thank you," and turned around and went back toward Dan and the children. And then Carl said that he would like to drown Dan right then and there.
Ma'am, your husband's right there.
Right there.
You're literally asking me to kill that guy. I can point him out.
I mean, he's right fucking there. I could just do it now.
He heard us.
Comes up, there's a bunch of Donna's friends come forward here, talk a little bit. They say, a couple of them say that Donna was not the typical grieving widow after the death, pointing out that she even played the organ at his funeral, and also for a wedding 3 days after the murder.
God, she sucks.
She played an organ. But later on, though, another neighbor said that she also Donna often becomes withdrawn under stressful circumstances. And a Clinton locksmith they found, he says that Dan Arnold had hired him to change the locks in the house after the Stuffle thing, and that that Dan had told the locksmith that Stuffle had threatened to kill him. So this is and this guy's just a locksmith. He doesn't know shit from shit. Also, in March 31st, 1987, Stuffle is in court, and what he does is he's going to confess, and he is going to plead guilty. Oh, because he's charged with first-degree murder at first.
Yeah.
He pleads guilty to a reduced charge of second-degree murder in exchange for his testimony against Donna.
Yep.
Okay, who's been fighting extradition still at this point. He admitted that he first implicated Donna in the murder on the morning before his plea bargaining. He said that because at first he wasn't really implicating her, he was just saying it was the two of him and his friend, and then he kind of put her into it here. He said that while in custody, he came to believe that Donna only used him to kill Dan, since he now believes that she was having an affair with somebody else at the time. Oh, no. And she thinks that that was her game. That's what Stuffle is saying. Stuffle swore that he was telling the whole truth in spite of the fact that he had lied to the police basically for 2.5 years.
Well, his whole life.
So at this point, Donna's depressed. She's depressed. The pastor of her church said that she went into a deep depression after she was arrested and even attempted suicide in mid-March, which, I don't blame. Nobody should commit suicide, but I get the feeling.
Yeah.
Her psychiatrist termed it a major depression, and her incarceration could have an effect on her competence to stand trial later and on her ability to assist in her own defense. If she were freed on bond, however, she would not put herself in danger or represent a danger to others. She'd be fine, obviously. Late 1987, she gets bail.
What?
They set her bail at $400,000. Now, here's a quote. Quote, "We're more than elated. I don't think it will be a problem raising the bail money." Do you know who that quote's from?
Who's the pastor?
That is from Robert Daniel Arnold Sr.
What?
That is from Robert Daniel Arnold Sr., Dan's dad.
Is bailing out the mom.
Elated that Donna got bail and is happy to bail her out.
For the grandkids.
They're her biggest supporters. They think she's innocent.
What?
Bail was set here. They testified as character witnesses for her and everything. She's freed on $300,000 bond and back with her family. One of the people who chipped in on it said, quote, "She's an exceptionally fine lady, a very reserved, devoted wife, and very attentive mother."
Oh, my God.
So 1988 is Donna's trial.
Okay.
It's moved due to publicity because this obviously was...
Oh, my God. Everybody knows this.
How would you not know about this? This is crazy.
Oh, my God.
It was really hard to pick a jury for some reason because there's not a lot of people, too. Yeah. So they really went through a lot picking a jury. Like by the end of the first day, they had no jurors still.
Really?
They end up with 6 men and 6 women on a jury. Okay. So even here, they still have the death penalty on the table for her.
Donna, yeah.
For Donna. They're looking at that possibly for her. The defense argues that the case against her should not be treated as a capital case, and she's being charged with second-degree murder under a plea agreement since Stuffle's being charged with second-degree murder, and so that wasn't offered to her. Why is he going to get off and not her? And they were like, yeah, that's how court works. And,
listen, sometimes there's strategy involved in this.
The judge said that he, quote, "did not have the authority to rule on the proportionality of the sentencing, and such a decision, if one had to be made, would be left up to an appellate court." Basically, complain about that shit later. They also tried to impeach the credibility of Stuffle, who implicated her in this whole conspiracy. The lawyer filed a motion to allow the defense to show the jury transcripts of Stuffle's plea agreement as well as copies of other statements, blah, blah, blah. Prosecution opening here. How do you think they're going to portray this thing?
Oh, she is a monster.
Have you ever seen The Staircase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they're doing that trial, that's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's in the 90s. That's well past this time. That's when gay is a lot more accepted. It's a very similar thing. We have a married couple
around then.
Yeah. We have a married couple. We have this guy who's also got, men on the side, things like that. They the way the stank that the prosecutor had on her voice when she would say gay to the jury was like, he's dirty. Like, it was thick. And that was in North Carolina, too. Yeah. So 84, they were laying it on way worse. Thick.
Yeah.
But they had to make, they also didn't want to demonize the victim, obviously, because that's, not what the prosecutors are going for and not what we're going for. No. We don't care how gay you are. We just wish he would have gone and been gay and lived his life, or been bi, or whatever his life was. Live it and not be embarrassed by it.
Run it and shout it from the mountain. I don't care.
I don't want anybody being blackmailed for what they do. That's crazy.
It can ruin your life in many different ways. Just the pressure of society alone to dress like a man and whatever the fuck. It's so dumb.
Fuck yeah,
just be you.
So the district attorney here said that Donna had intentionally lied to police during the investigation and everything was on purpose and it was a big conspiracy. The defense opening here, the defense says that she's a victim.
Okay.
She is a victim of...
he surprise attacked her with gay.
A victim of a, quote, evil and dark world.
Oh, boy.
Who allowed herself to be manipulated by a homicidal and homosexual maniac.
Okay. Those go together.
That's her lawyer's statement. I'll say it like him. She's a victim of an evil and dark world who allowed herself to be manipulated by a homicidal and homosexual maniac. And the jury went, whoa, damn.
Yep.
Defense said that Stuffle used Arnold's connection with the church to avoid a conviction on the gun charge and also used his, quote, homosexual encounters with Arnold to bribe Mrs. Arnold into having dirty, dirty sex with him. I added the dirty, dirty.
Yeah.
He said that Stuffle manipulated both Dan and Donna, quote, like puppets on a string.
Oh, my God.
On a gay jizz-covered string.
on a gay, just a jizz rope.
Just a rope of jizz. Can't climb it because it's slippery with jizz rope. He told the jury also that she's a victim of two criminals' efforts to keep from going to jail. She said that she was a, quote, naive, trusting woman trying to protect her home and loved ones from knowledge of her husband's illness.
Oh, my God, I hate it.
Jesus Christ, man. Ugh, I hate that so much.
He's sick. That's why he's doing it.
Sick. Danny's parents testify for Donna.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Lots of support, too. Yeah. She's supported by all her friends and family. They come and they pray with her and all that. Here's the Reverend. She's a very, very fine Christian, dedicated person. Wow.
Okay.
Here's another one. I really haven't met a dearer person than Donna.
Okay.
This is another church person.
She has so many people snowed.
The pediatric dentist she worked for said she's a, quote, very, very fine person who works well with his young patients, and told the jury that once she's acquitted, he's planning on putting her back to work in my place because I know how innocent she is. So you let her out of it. You're keeping her from my fucking 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's some kids that miss her down at the dentist's office. That's what he's basically said. Characterized her as too meek to speak out in her own defense, and said he was proud of the way that she's standing up in trial here. Danny's parents, oh boy, man, I can't believe that. They said that they said they were determined to keep. She was determined. She's a good woman who was determined to keep her husband's homosexuality a secret. Oh, that's what it was. He told the jury. This is the father.
That father is ashamed.
Yeah,
of his gay son.
Absolutely. That's
unbelievable.
Or at least the kid. At least the son thought he would be.
Yeah,
one of the two. He said that he
and he is because he's testifying for her.
Yeah. He said that he first learned his son had homosexual tendencies a few weeks after the murder when he asked investigators to show him the case file. Arnold said, this is the father. The dad said that one of the investigators read a letter written by his son in which Danny revealed his fear of and hatred for Carl Edward Stuffle, confessed murder of who was the guy who confessed to him here, and he also found Mrs. Arnold's sexual encounter with Stuffle and his gayness. Everything is all in these letters. He said the investigators told him they suspected Donald Arnold left her pocketbook there on purpose. Both Arnold Sr. and his wife Marjorie testified, and they testified that they have full belief in her innocence. Full belief.
Unreal.
They said that his wife confronted Donna with the fact that they were aware of all this type of shit. She said that hoping to we sensed she was suffering inwardly with this grieving process. They helped her get help for her grieving and everything since then. He said Donna told them that she was sorry that they found out about the affairs and all that stuff, and it was not necessary for anyone else to know. She said it would only damage her friends and her family or friends in her church, and she said she mentioned nothing about herself. She just mentioned her daughters and things like that. Right. The father also said she always respected, this is the mother, this is Marjorie. She always respected Danny and what Danny would bring forth as a husband. She always supported him. Parents also say they'll get her a job. They'll get her a job. They said, even now you'll get her a job? They said, even now you have the highest regard for her? And he said, even now.
Oh, boy.
They don't give a shit. So they bring the letters in, of course. Like we said, these are obviously in there. They're postmarked before the murder, July 10th, July 11th. Those letters we discussed before. Gerald Junius Tart is on the stand, of course. You know it. He's here. He's ready to rock and roll. He said that he gave him a ride so that the Stuffle could kill Dan so they could start a life together. He said that, he did that. He said he just drove him there. That was the thing. Saw him with all the blood, blah, blah, blah. Now, to discredit Tart, her lawyer calls Tart's former girlfriend, who testifies that she saw an underwater spear gun in Tart's closet and was with both Tart and Stuffle when they were casing the window of the dive shop the day before, looking at the equipment that they ended up having later on. Arnold was stabbed and slashed with knives there, and the defense, Donna's defense, contends that Stuffle and Tart stole the knives from that store and used them there. Another defense contention was that they were going to shoot him with the spear gun because that's what Tart had said, or that's what Stuffle had said. But they couldn't be shot out of water. Now Tart denies ever having going to the scuba shop at all, and then his girlfriend comes and contradicts him. Donna testifies in her own behalf, which is she's got to go up there and go, I'm a nice church lady. I didn't kill my husband.
You got to present exactly what everybody's saying about you.
Yeah, she's charged with first-degree murder, the whole deal. I mean, she's got to get her ass up there and do some dancing. The district attorney asked her if the letter sent around back and forth, is this your letter, blah, 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 all that type of shit. She said that in trial, she testifies that Stuffle raped her, this is the first this has come up at all.
That's astounding.
Even in the letters, this didn't come up. Tricked was one of the things, but not raped. That was definitely not.
That's a very serious allegation, ma'am.
Yeah, well, murder's there too, so they're all there. And he's got all the big ones. And then coerced her by threatening to expose everything there. She did not tell investigators she'd been raped because she continued to feel threatened by Stuffle, is what she said. Now, she also said that she was an obedient wife, giving in to her husband's wish to allow Stuffle to stay in their house. She said that even after she learned that her husband and Stuffle have had sex in a sleazy motel, she said, I really didn't have any choice but to stay. Dan knew I really wouldn't leave him. And she said, she just gets on the stand. She denies everything. I didn't do anything. She said, no, sir, I never talked with anyone about killing my husband. I loved Dan. Then they bring up that letter and all that.
Remember that part?
Remember that shit? She denied. She said that it's a forgery. Is what she said. There's a forgery, and Tart's parents had this forgery, and they tried to get experts in to say it was a forgery, and the judge was like, this is ridiculous. We're not allowed this. We're not going to have a whole sidebar about the letters. It's just not going to happen. There's, testimony. That's plenty. So, they do all of that. Stuffle is set to testify, obviously, because he made a deal for testimony. He testified earlier at his own thing that the relationship was voluntary and lasted several weeks and that he loved Donna very deeply at the time. During this, he invokes the Fifth Amendment and won't say shit.
About her.
About anything.
Yeah.
He won't answer a fucking question. He says, my name is Carl Edward Stuffle, and I take the Fifth Amendment to not incriminate myself. He does that. Won't say shit except for that. He's like a gangster. He's like a gangster up there.
At her trial.
At her trial. Won't say shit. Which is ridiculous. Now, the defense is pissed off that they're doing that. Because
he got a deal.
So the defense calls him. So the prosecution won't call him because he says he won't testify. He says, I'm not going to answer questions. So the prosecution says, fine, fuck it then. Yeah. No need. But the defense says, no, make him testify. That's what we want. The defense says make him testify, but the judge says that part of the plea agreement called for him to provide truthful testimony in the case, but he also said the agreement wasn't made with the defense, it was made with the prosecution. So that's their problem. Yeah. You can't request that he does that. Wow. You don't have an agreement with him. You're the defense. The prosecution could enforce their agreement with him, but that's none of your fucking business, so carry on, asshole.
Wow.
That's how it worked. So, that's how that worked. Now,
oh my God.
Closing arguments come up here. And
there's going to be so many problems with this, isn't there?
There's a lot. So closing arguments come in, and this is a 5-week trial. This is a lot here, obviously. Her lawyers here drew stories from Genesis and all this shit, the Bible, not Phil Collins.
Your Honor, I'd like to call
Peter Gabriel to the stand.
And then when that doesn't work, we're going to work with Phil Collins.
We're going to work with Phil. So
I call the evidence. He cannot dance, sir.
He can't dance. He says it himself. You hear the song. So he says her attorneys compared Donna and her husband to Adam and Eve.
Oh my God!
And Carl resembled Satan in the way he wormed into their lives. They had to bring a religious overtone, so it was going to happen. March 16th, 1988 is the verdict.
Yeah.
And they could have done these 3 things with Donna. They could acquit her, obviously. They could find her guilty of first-degree murder or an accessory before the fact, or find her guilty of second-degree murder on an accessory before the fact. So first or second degree or acquitted, basically.
Okay.
The second-degree murder instruction was made over Donna's objection. The trial judge stated he was submitting the second-degree murder charge to the jury to be fair to the defendant, since Stuffle had an opportunity to plead guilty to that offense. That's what he said. She did not affect the trial court's instruction on conspiracy to commit murder. Just that, the whole thing. Just the added second-degree murder. Jury deliberates for 3.5 hours.
That's quick.
Which is pretty goddamn quick. They come back with a verdict of guilty of conspiracy to commit second-degree murder and guilty of murder in the second degree as well, not the first and the second. So murder and conspiracy. Donna passes out.
I bet.
Again.
I bet.
Goes catatonic here. 200 people watched her as here's a picture of her being carted out on a stretcher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's her being taken out of court on a stretcher.
Did he get it? Is that
it looks like Stuffle right there with the beard.
Did he get out?
Are there any other bearded men in North Carolina?
Did he get out and get a paramedic's job?
I think so. I'm making the best of my life. Now, in the sentencing here, which is interesting here, the judge says, you, ma'am, may fuck off. Consecutive sentences of 15 years for murder and 10 years for conspiracy.
Oh, my.
So 25 years. Yeah.
And you got to get paroled on one to get out and start the other.
And the conspiracy, that was the max. He maxed her out on the conspiracy charge. She'll be eligible for parole in 8 to 10 years, they say. She said that the judge said, quote, that Donna had, quote, taken advantage of a position of trust in plotting to kill her husband. And, So she appeals this, though.
Of course she does.
Based on the court, she says, a court error by submitting a possible verdict of murder in the second degree, which is what she got convicted of. So the court said the conspiracy conviction was fine, but she's appealing the murder conviction, and the North Carolina appeals court overturns the murder conviction, the second degree, not the conspiracy, but the second degree murder conviction, and but said her conspiracy should stand. She was convicted, obviously, of second degree. She is pretty, the judge at this point said, quote, even if this was one of the jurors, the North Carolina Supreme Court justice, said, even if the evidence was overwhelming that Mrs. Arnold procured or counseled co-defendant Carl Stuffle to commit the crime, it's not readily apparent that that said counsel caused Stuffle to commit the murder. So she said he was in on it. A myriad of reasons for killing Dan Arnold is what they said that Stuffle had, but not really her. So what they end up doing, basically, the evidence presented in this case clearly shows a premeditated and deliberate killing. The trial court erred in submitting the possible verdict of second degree because the evidence supports only a possible verdict of murder in the first degree. Okay. So they overturned the murder charge. They can refile. They can refile with first-degree murder. They can do all of this, but they don't.
They choose not to.
They choose not to. So she has a 10-year conspiracy charge, which right after this appeal, April 30th, 1991, she is paroled from jail. Now, Stoffel has life in prison, is what he's got, plus 10 years for conspiracy. So it's 50 years is the life, and then 10 years for conspiracy.
It's over
so
for
he's
him.
got 60.
Yep.
So she's paroled April 30th, 1991. So she did about 3 years.
He's got to be
for
pissed.
this. 2011, he is released on parole as well. Stoffel is let out.
Oh my!
Why are you letting this guy out? Is he the guy you want to let out? Really?
No,
he's
never.
the last guy I want to let out. We'll max him. I'd let him.
How old is he?
Now, shit, was
50,
he 60?
60s?
Not even 60, 58,
Oh
something
my
like that.
fuck! He's
still spry enough to murder.
So dangerous.
Still spry enough to be dangerous here. Pretty crazy.
Sleep tight, James.
Sleep tight, everybody. Small town North Carolina.
Shit.
There was a book written about this called The Hymn of Commitment by an independent newspaper editor. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Sherry Matthews wrote that. And then in 2016, they made a low-budget movie out of it. $355,000 budget, which is that's low for a murder story like this, like a big murder story. It's called Tarnished Notes.
Okay.
And the plot is, because they change names and stuff, based on true events. Tarnished Notes tells the story of a love triangle murder between a Southern Baptist minister of music, his wife, and their lover. In 1984, Jim and Judith Daniels moved to small town eastern North Carolina as they began their new life. Jim meets a young man with a troubled past. Judith does whatever she feels any mother would do to protect her family.
Thinks it's hot.
$355,000. The actress in it, Carrie Moscow, was appeared in the show One Tree Hill, which is interesting. I think she plays the Donna. She plays the tree that he's found under. It has a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, but it's only like 10 ratings, so it could be just the people in the movie.
Yeah.
And Robert Daniel Arnold Jr. is buried in the Springvale Cemetery in Clinton, North Carolina, and he's obviously not moving.
Everybody is out.
Everybody's out.
Oh my God. I am
Sleep
horrified.
I'm very horrified by this whole shit.
Well done, North Carolina.
Good job, everybody. I don't know what the hell. You need like a post-game show to talk about what the hell should have happened, what could have happened. I don't know about the tart thing. I feel like, in my opinion, that Stoffel and Tart killed Dan together.
Yeah.
Because 2 knives and a beating and all that sort of shit, that's 2 people. I'm sorry. It's 2 people. That's 2 people.
Yep.
I believed Stoffel.
Yep.
I believe when they got Stoffel in there, he spilled it.
Yeah.
I believe he went, I don't give a fuck anymore. Sure, we did that shit because I'm fucking him, I'm fucking this one, I'm fucking that one. I don't care. I'm going for murder anyway.
Everybody's blowing it. North Carolina's justice system's on board doing the same.
That's what I mean.
Good Lord.
He said that, Tart cut his throat, but he also put himself in for stabbing him in the chest. So he wasn't like, I stood by horrified while Tart murdered him.
I couldn't believe you did it.
That would be bullshit, obviously. But this one, you go, that sounds like the most likely story, probably. I mean, I don't know. It's allegedly, in our opinion,
I don't believe
whatever,
Tart for fuck.
I don't believe him for fuck.
No.
I don't believe anybody. The only person I believe is Carl, and he's the biggest scumbag of the group.
He's the worst guy in it.
I don't understand that. He's the most, somehow, the most believable out of this whole deal for me.
Unbelievable.
This is a crazy-ass story, man. If you enjoyed that story or are just perplexed by it, tell us about it. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts. That purple icon, tell us all you want. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say, but you got to say something. It helps drive us up the charts.
I'm going to be sick. Say that.
To say that case made me sick. So there's that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Tons of good merch up there right now, by the way. All sorts of cool stuff up there. And in addition to that, though, more importantly, get your tickets to the live show.
Right.
January the 29th, 2021, live show, virtual live show, I should say. But we are going to do it just like, we're going to pretend like our studio that we film it in as a theater. We're going to do the same thing, have the table, we're going to have mics so the sound's great, we're going to have the good visuals, everything's going to be awesome. Get those tickets right now. It'll also be available for 72 hours after it ends.
Terrific.
So it's going to be beautiful. Shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Also follow us on social media at Murder Small on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Pod on or at what is it? At Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram.
Yeah.
That way you
Make
can,
it all confusing.
It's all confusing. That's what's available. What are you going to do? So you can
as crystal clear as North Carolina's justice system.
Perfect.
I can't fucking believe it.
It's insane. So you can do all that. Follow us on social media so you'll know about things like live shows and stuff like that. And in addition to that, if you would like to be a patron, also listen to Crime and Sports, damn it. Listen to Anthony Grundy, this week's episode.
It's unbelievable.
It's really good.
It's truly, this week we got you two good ones.
This week you are set. You're covered, man. So thank you for doing that. But yeah, listen to Crime and Sports. Also listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie because I got to watch fucking Twilight on Saturday. So make it worth my while at least. At least listen to the goddamn shit. I had to listen to Love Actually last week or watch that pile of shit.
Yeah, watch it.
So anyway, yeah, do all that. Listen to our other shows and everything. But if you want to be a Patreon supporter, you get lots of stuff for that. Number one, you're a producer, which really doesn't do anything for you personally, except that Jimmy will mispronounce your name, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So I'll read it. You get that, and you're a producer. So thank you. You're part of the team, and you make us feel good here, and hopefully that makes you feel good. And you're going to get lots of bonus episodes, though, everywhere, all over there at patreon.com/crime and sports. Bonus episodes last week, Crime and Sports bonus. You get it all with your one donation, by the way. Crime and Sports bonus was personal ads from the 70s and 80s in like Missouri and New Jersey.
Florida.
It is hilarious. They're some of our funniest shit is that. And then Small Town Murder, we did Christmas murders throughout history that were really funny too. Wild stuff. And then the next Small Town Murder Patreon will be the worst town reviews I can find.
I can't
Just
wait.
people savaging places. It's going to be a personal beefs. Try to figure out why they're so angry. It's going to be hilarious.
Not enough high school girls in the McDonald's.
Not enough. You can get all of that at patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level. And if you just want to be a producer, have Jimmy mispronounce your name and feel good about yourself and have us really like you, you can do that very easily as well over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Bye, my love.
Yeah, there you go. Which is also, by the way, our email address to get a hold of us at. That said, damn it, I've heard enough. Jimmy, you need to stalk me down in a church parking lot and give me the names of the people who we love more than anything. Do it now, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are John and Susan McQuilkin in memory of Phyllis McQuilkin, who would hate us, and that makes me very happy.
That's pretty funny.
That's what Susan told me. Also, Craig Cole, Rachel Amaza, Jared Durkee, Duncan Wilson, Elizabeth Goldstein, Jordan Bennett, Eric Peterson, Scott Barr. I hope he's Matt Barr's son.
I hope Chris too.
John Knickerbocker, Jackie Perney, Tim Wooten, Vanessa East, Melissa Ramsey, Ethan Morrissey, Joy Mungin, and Starheart. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. Truly, we can't do it without you. Other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Trisha Hempstead, happy birthday, Cameron Smith, Jaden Patterman, Bud Permenter, Catherine Corlisis. She donated both ways.
Shit.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Jude Kendall, Kimberly Cooey, Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez, Maria Kip Sousley, Cody Baker, Madeline Isaacs, Max Ringstad, Rebecca Ailes, Steve Schnell. Oh, Steve, thank you so much, Steve. Bill Szynski. I miss Toby already, man. He lost his pup this week, man. That's brutal.
Oh,
sleep well, Toby. Jessica Massery, Massery. I don't know. Christina Bamengo. Yep. Larry Butterfast. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Larry. I said that. Robert Sukach. Janice Hill. Stephanie Grotbeck. Kendall Passmore. Amanda Knight. Elizabeth Ann Collins. Monica Hernandez. Kellyanne Holzvauer. John Henry. Brandy Toom. Travis Marshall.
Doc Holliday?
Yes.
Cool.
Wait, what? Who?
John Henry.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Where did I go? Brett Killian. Amanda M., Melissa Turner, Allison Wolf, Jess with no last name, Marky Beasley, Anne-Marie Pine, Danielle Webb, Amanda Journey, Chris Garver, Tim Holzim, Julia Shirayev, Trey Phillips, Amber Kelly.
You're struggling.
I know. Olivia Foley, Carla Perry, Emily Rudder.
Got the other light on?
I need a water. Lisa with no last name. No, I don't know. Sherry Mullen, Valerie Alba, Ashley Bowden. Oh, that's a D. That's Dowden. Caleb Bass. It's amazing.
We're going to
what
blame
you can
darkness
read
on the first
with
book.
lights.
Yeah.
Sarah Conkle, Reed Schindel, Jay Sule, I think. Caleb Bass or Bass. I think it's Bass. Maura Siebert, Adam with no last name. Rebecca Allen, Anna Hill, Casey Lance, Deanna Hodge, Brian Hood, Amanda Oakes, Bailey Bunting, Julia with no last name, Jeff Watts, Danielle Nelson, Brian Carquet, I think. No, Chase and Aaron, Melissa Clark, Ashley Burns, Darcy Sherman, Roberta Burcham, Anna Zurich, Angela Corey, Ray Kosker, John O'Hara, Ainsley Luan, I think, David Springer, Jamie Goldberg, Keenan Aina. Ogaga Umavayan. I'm so sorry. Emu Vayan?
Gave it a valiant effort.
It's never going to happen. Alan Hawkins, Cheyenne Ryder. Brandon Season, Jesse with no last name, Chris with no last name, Christine Rigney, Christian with no last name, Manny Edwards, Ben Ingram, Blair Fanning, LaShawn Darby, Fox on Stilts. I guess she or he is very hot and tall.
Cool.
I assume.
Bouncy.
Jordan Byers, Ellie or Ely. Jasmine C. Vuitton, Greg Briggs, Alyssa Tyler, Vera Doder, Krista Silvalotti?
Huda what?
Jesse James, Tyler S., Matthew Pope, Sanapori, Danelle, Heather Shaw, Ryan Goleniak.
Sure.
Jen Lucas, CJ Hempel, Beth with no last name, Joshua Lee, nope, that's Neil. Clements, Derek Young, Debbie Stacy, Tanner with no last name, Gailey Holly, Geraldine Emig, Jesse Grams, like the measurement of weed.
I like it.
Candace Williams, Bree Phillips, Daniel Garipi, nope. 13 Foxtrot, Holly with no last name, Haley Jenkins, Haley Grindstaff, Heidi Elaine, Robin Pix, Chris Solomon, Mendy Schmidt, Jaylyn Eaton, Rice Probin, Princess Dogface Girl, Alicia Russ, Wendy Stanich, Michael Coolacan, Bradford Von Beers, he's up in New Hampshire, I learned this week. Jenny with no last name, Leslie Moore, Jacob Haverfield, Blake Lux, Amanda Ward, Katie Morrison, Riley Walker, and Bryson Olajinek. Firestarter Pizza, I guess it's good. I don't know. Eric Burt,
have some.
Burt, Quinn Kunze, Melanie Fagan, Kate Hyen, Whitney Weatherholt, Horton? What the fuck? Lisa Henderson, Kelly Kintop, Thomas Cox, Margaret Clark, Kelly DeRocco, Maureen Tracy, Haley Suxton, Lori Bowman, I put a little extra sucks on that.
Yeah,
sorry. Jeez. Joanne Bacon, Queen City Psycho, Dylan Robinson, Lori Bowman, I said that. Jen Wallace, Adam Ellison Quinn, Ruben Nunez, Katie Swada Johnson, Mary Lou, Brian Drastel, Matthew Goff, Jacob Powers, Justin Hornecker, Jenna Rome, I think it's Jim's daughter, Jen Wallace, I think it said that, Amy Levesque, V with no last name, just V, like Vendetta.
I like it.
Greg Freetage, yeah, Nathan Muzak, like the system, Rafael Garcia Ramirez, Beach Fox, we have one on a beach and one on stilts, apparently.
Oh, look at us.
Jennifer Smith, Patrick Waits, Elrod, William Valencia, John Carpesh, Randy Reed, Jeffrey Lanier, Anna Marie Campoy, Deborah Bob. What? Yeah. Jacob Foster, Bob Davies, Aaron Szymanski, I think, Andrew Fuchs, Sarah Jones, Natasha Tazzy Pliskin, Candace Fitzpatrick, Liz Johnson, Lance Tafoya, Michelle with no last name, Matt Hatton, Jeremy Eggleston, Austin Cock or Coach or Coke. Could be any of them. John Clausen.
He gave it the full run.
D. Hart, Robin Lincoln Codjo, what? Jesse T. Eric Watson, Sierra Senfner, fucking what? That's too many N's and F's together. Marianne Jack. Yep. Mary Case also. Wilson Wilsoff, which is fantastic.
That's a great name.
That's not real, but it's fantastic. Brian Riley, Tracy. No, it's not. It's Tom Chapman. Because I love Tracy. Sorry. Sheila Connor.
He's also got a fast car.
She is fantastic.
She is. She's
I love
great.
that woman. Owen Mitchell, James Bethel, Tristan LaFoya, Chantel Guyette, Sarah Lathrop, Dallas Grimm, Mary Lynn Patillo, DeAndre Floyd, Rich Carter, Tiffany F., Brianna Shores, Kathleen Legg, what is this? Greg Hot Chickaroo Pilkington. I miss Hot Chickaroo. That was a great song. Prof with no last name. Sarah Francis Ralston. Krista with no last name. Deborah Johnson Chin. Kelly Corletto. Wendy H. Sarah Francis Walston. I said that. Home stretch here. Melissa Perrin. McCord Brickle. Key Sardi. Christy Rayner. Katie Clark. Lila Cummings. Skylar Adamski. Adamski.
I don't mean Adamski thing.
Stephanie Lee, Jimmy Ryall, I think. Lyle. Sarah Darling, Maria Meyer, Haley Stefkovich, Paul Hively.
You know what you wanted to say. You were so.
What do you want me to say?
You were so. No, you were so. Your tongue was like, don't say. Don't say Stefkovich. Don't say it.
Brian Choice, Melanie Argueta, Jeff Kuhn, Patricia Herman, Maddie McAllister, Susan Wheatley, Nicole Simper, Matt Hugheim, Jordan Bell and Hannah Gibson, Joy McMeans, Nicole Hodgson, Jamie Maggiera, Sherry Holland, Tommy Reed, Taylor Becker, Espen Notodden, Josh Novak, Caleb Pearson, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Maddie Decker, Samantha Robin, and all of our patrons. You guys, thank you so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you.
Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. But going into these shouts, I said that, and Jimmy goes, Jesus, James.
that was grim.
It's dark. So
grim, mate.
This not grimmer than the story.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, though?
Thank you, guys,
Thank
truly,
you so
for
much.
everything you do for us.
This is the last show of the year. Thank you for everything you've done all year for us.
It's been a magical year. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. No, it hasn't.
Yeah,
yes,
black shit,
right.
like dark, underground, terrible magic. So,
some Baton Rouge magic.
Yeah, some like David Blaine knockoff. He's not even good at it. He's just like, I have eyeshadow on and my tricks suck.
The card, right?
Yeah, it's in my butthole. You gonna go after it? How can they get a hold of you in case they want to get a card out of your butthole?
You can find me on the internet. I'm around it. At Whisman Sucks. It's on Instagram and Twitter. What about you?
Perfect. I am at Jimmy P is funny. You can find me on there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know how to copy and paste names and find people if you need to.
And thank you guys for the nice words you said about my father. It's very nice of you to give a shit. I appreciate it. I'm terrified. He's terrified. Everybody's terrified. Now we have reasons because fucking lunatics are on the streets.
Yay. Perfect. Christ. That said, I think it's time to call it a week and say thank you so much to everybody. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.